Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am CA Revant Agarwal from Yamunanagar branch of NIRC of ICAI. And I, on behalf of Yamunanagar branch, I welcome all the dignitaries, all the keynote speakers, Nanda sir, chairman of Yamunanagar branch, and all the members who have joined this seminar on the opportunities in information system audit. So without taking much of your time, may I please invite CA Anuj Jindal-ji, who is chairman of Yamunanagar branch, to give a welcome address.
Thank you, Revanji. Respective CA Charadon Nandaji, Chairman DAB ICI, CA Dayanivasan Sharma ji, Vice Chairman DAB ICI, and the two eminent speakers of the day, Dr. Kapil Kumar Suri ji and Dr. Saurabh Maheshwari ji, and our other dignitaries who are with us, and all the audience who is with us. A very good evening to all of you. First of all, I would like to thank Nanda sir, who has always been helpful from Yamunanagar, because this man belongs to Yamunanagar soul, and we always feel proud on our Nanda sir. Nanda sir, welcome to you, sir. I also like to thank to the DAB committee of ICI who given this opportunity to Yamunanagar branch to host such a very informative and a very demanding topic of a day, that is the opportunity in information system audit. When a chartered accountant is known for audit and IT is involved in that become a great opportunity for the profession and to develop ourselves. It's a great opportunity. Hope today webinars will help out to think about a new way of auditing and new way of opportunity will come before us, and we will grow so much. So thank you and welcome all of you in this webinar. Of this webinar will become a lot of professional opportunity to us. Thank you and welcome to you. Over to you, Revanji.
Thank you so much, Anuj. Well, I will now invite CA Charanjot Singh Nandaji for his address. But before this, let me tell you something about this man. He belongs to Yamunanagar. This has been told by Anuj Jindarji. And apart from this, he is currently serving as the Central Council member, and he is serving as chairman of following committees, which are known as Digital Accounting and Assurance Board, Internal Audit Standard Board, Committee on Information Technology of South Asian Federation of Accountants. And along with this, he's also serving as Vice Chairman of Banking, Financial Services and Insurance Committee of ICAI. Well, with these words, may I now please invite CA Nanda sir.
A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The chairman of Yamunanagar branch, my younger brother, CA Anuj Jindal. The master of ceremonies, CA Revant Agarwal, my very dear friend, Dr. Kapil Kumar Suri, Dr. Saurabh Maheshwari, and all who have come here to go home more enlightened. Ladies and gentlemen, I am truly honored to be amongst you. The reason is very simple, very candid. I am reminded of Shri N.A. Palkiwala, who once exclaimed, he said very lightly that I love chartered accountants for two reasons. Number one, they have a benevolent fund. Benevolent fund is available in all organizations, but the benefit is dispensed to the person who is the member. In our institute, any person can be member or no member. The benefits are equally given to all of them, irrespective of the fact whether they are member or not. And the second reason why he loved chartered accountants was that we have a continuing professional education. Yes, we have well-crystallized, well-defined continuing professional education. We hone the technical skills of our fellow professionals, and that is why all of us are here in such big numbers. Information system audit essentially lays and paves the way for smoother working and practice orientation of professionals like us. I want to tell you that your institute, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, has always been a pioneer in doing new works. We are a constant member of IFAC, International Federation of Accountants, and we were the first in the world to come out with guidance on remote audit way back on 30th March 2020, when COVID had barely settled. I would like to say something about that. Digital Accounting and Assurance Board. The board was the first to come out with a set of forensic investigative accounting standards. 23 forensic investigation accounting standards have been brought by the board, and that is the first in the world. The entire world is after us to have the technical impetus and know how to conduct forensic assignments. And when I speak to a number of people, they say that we work so much and yet we are not acknowledged. And I'm reminded of a couplet which says, तारीफ की चाहत तो नाकाम लोगों की फितरत है, तारीफ की चाहत तो नाकाम लोगों की फितरत है, काबिल लोगों के तो दुश्मन भी कायल होते हैं. So we belong to that clan where we contribute for the cause of this great nation. We were set before the parliament of this country and we have been consistently approaching the right direction for not only our clients or stakeholders, but for the regulators and government as well. My dear friends, I will not take much time. I would just want to tell you that technology is something that will change your entire landscape of practice. Newer practice, older practice, traditional practice areas are dwindling now. And you have to get into new practice area, and that shall only be led once you go into technology. Technology, practice may be artificial intelligence, may be blockchain, may be data analytics, may be Internet of Things, may be anything X, Y, Z, blah, blah. Related to technology, you never look back. So my last parting words to you, be technically compliant. And your board has taken a clue from this. I happen to be the chairman of Southern Asian Federation of Accountants, IT committee, which comprises of 9 countries across the globe. And the mantra we have is technology for non-technology professionals. And your board, DAB, is coming out with guidance on technology for non-technology professionals. So I want to thank Dr. Kapil for his very lucid way of interacting with chartered accountants. I thank Dr. Saurabh Maheshwari, again a very illustrated speaker. I want to thank Anuji and Revanji, my fellow members from Yamunanagar, Yamunanagar being my home branch. It is always a pleasure to come and speak in Yamunanagar. So I want to thank you all. Over to Mr. Raymond for further proceedings. Raymondji, the dice is all yours now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Your words are always very inspiring and informative. Thank you so much. Well, in the absentia of Dayanivas Sharma, sir, who is serving as Vice Chairman, I welcome him as well. Without taking much of your time, may I please introduce formally Professor Kamil Kumar Suri ji, who has kindly consented to be a keynote speaker for today's seminar. Well, I'll briefly go through his biodata and enlighten you with all his achievements. He's an international corporate trainer, consultant, business coach, and faculty in the domain of international technology and management. Well, he's serving this branch for last 2 decades, more than 2 decades. He has conducted various programs for companies like IBM, Oracle, Microsoft, HP, Google, SAP, Deloitte, PwC, KPMG, and many more. He has worked as consultant with Dubai Police and Egypt Telecommunications and many other such organizations. He is a senior DISA and FAFD faculty with Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Well, not only this, he is also deeply interested in sports. He has been a national cricket player and he has represented the state of Madhya Pradesh at various levels. Well, currently he is also mentoring the Madhya Pradesh Ranji team and along with Kings 11 Punjab. Well, with these words, may I please welcome and invite Professor Saab for his deliberation and words of wisdom. Thank you so much. Sir, you'll have to unmute yourself.
Kindly just confirm, I am audible now?
Yes, sir, you are.
Yeah. Thank you, Revanji. Thank you, Nandaji. Yeah, although it's little bit hard, but once again, happy Diwali and New Year to all of you. And it started with the new era with the technology. Nandaji is absolutely well said that now without technology, chartered accountant is not complete, because now all industries, you name it, any business organization anywhere within the country and globally, they honestly accept it that data is the lifeline and technology is the driver of the business. Even any of the business organization which is working at this small level also, maybe a proprietorship, without technology friendly, even with the minimum technology, unable to survive. So now for the auditors, for the chartered accountants, it's become a challenge, because now the environment under which we are working, This is the dynamic environment. Each and every business organization is working under the heterogeneous environment. Almost daily basis organizations are performing changes in their business model. They are very much concerned about their productivity. They are very much concerned about their efficiency. So their expectation from the auditors is now at the high level. They are not simply looking that auditors should come at the end of the business cycle, at the end of the financial year, at the end of the half financial year, at the end of the quarter, come and just review their system. But they are looking that auditor should play the role of a mentor, should guide them that where they are lacking, where the loopholes are there, and how they overcome, and even with the technology also. Rivanji, kindly just confirm my screen is accessible. Let me just share.
Yes, sir, we can see your screen.
Okay, very good. It is properly readable?
Yes.
Oh, great, 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 great. Let me just change the screen. Kindly confirm it is properly working.
Absolutely working, sir.
Oh, great, great, great. So now, whether the organization is working at the small level within the Yamunanagar, or whether the organization covering the entire northern India, or whether the organization is providing the services throughout the pan India, or whether the organization is working globally, whether the organization is involved dedicated into manufacturing, or the organization is involved dedicated into the service sector, without technology savvy, they unable to survive. Even the organizations like those which are established, I'll just give you, because all of you are from northern India, so you all are well versed about the Maruti Suzuki. Now Maruti Suzuki is again facing the challenges, just like the Nokia, just like the Microsoft faced couple of years. If you people are well versed and aware of, and just see in last couple of years, now Maruti Suzuki derived two new business model. One is the Nexa, another is now from the after the Nexa, that is the Arena. And now they are realizing, although they are the latecomer to enter into the SUV segment, and now they are realizing that what is the importance of the technology, where they are lacking with respect to organizations like Honda, with respect to organizations like Mercedes-Benz, with respect to organization like Audi. Although they are expertise in manufacturing the car, there is no issue. Okay. Similarly, with respect to the State Bank of India, there is no issue with respect to the banking operation. Each and every banker who is providing the services, who is employed to the State Bank of India, know the banking very well. Each and every chartered accountant who is involved in performing the audit with respect to the banking organization from last many decades, he or she is well versed with the audit. He or she know that how to perform the internal audit. He or she is well versed that how to perform the bank's audit. He or she is well versed that how to perform the stock audit. He or she is well versed that how to perform the different type of the audit as per the business need, as per the business requirement. But now suddenly, in last couple of years, I'm not using the decade, maximum last 5 years. Okay. And again, under the 5 year, if we just consider the last 3 years since the beginning of the COVID, because COVID is not only the game changer with respect to the global business cycle, with respect to the global economy, even with respect to the technology also. Because now suddenly each and every business organization across the globe, they realize that how smartly they able to survive even with the minimum manpower, with the minimum input cost, okay, with minimum resources also, they able to run their business effectively. Because each and every business organization, from the auditor point of view, all of you would agree with me, always concern about that at the end of each and every business cycle, always concern about that how to enhance, how to improve the productivity, efficiency, effectiveness of the business organization, as well as how to cut down the wastage or the unwanted input cost with respect to the business. And now they suddenly realize that technology is suddenly the game changers playing the key role. Okay. And now from the IS, now what about here? Whenever we'll think about this, because our agenda is opportunity, what you people can do it. Once you, because many of you I consider that already qualified, DISA qualified as well as the CISA qualified, as well as some of you definitely DISA, CISA as well as FA qualified, but then also having the query that CA plus this value addition learning which you perform through the institute, how smartly you people can utilize to gain the maximum benefit. Now just have a look. I hope my screen is accessible to all of you. Let me use simply one statement. I hope all of you would agree. If there is no business, then there is no need of IES. If there is no IES, then there is no need of IT. Because IES and IT, we always need to enhance or improve the productivity of the business. And with respect to the business, each and every business is strictly follow its own independent business model. And that business model is nothing but integration of a number of different business processes. And whenever the organization perform changes in their business process, then default organization perform changes in their business model. And now if organization is technology enabled, now please have a look. The simple equation I define here, that business objective is equal to IS plus IT implementation. Means this is the simple, means whatever the business process, now that business process is enabled with IS and IT. Okay, so through IS and IT, organization want to enhance, want to improve their productivity, want to enhance, want to improve their efficiency, as well as want to be more and more effective in front of their rivals, as well as want to be the market leader. The very good example is in front of you at this moment, like the Gautam Adani. Now Gautam Adani started the journey only with one business, that is the logistic. And now at this moment, Gautam Adani become the market leader with respect to the FMCG. Gautam Adani is into the cement business. Gautam Adani is operating the data center. Gautam Adani is managing the airport. And now, although he is not a subject matter expert, he is not a domain expert with respect to the different business. But in the background, there are so many consultants. Now, please kindly just concentrate on to this term, that is the consultant. Once you become the IAS auditor, now definitely you people can perform. You can provide your services as an IAS auditor. Okay. But a part of this IAS auditor, because this is one type of internal audit, but a part of IAS auditor, a part of IT auditor, a part of system audit, you people can become the backbone of each. Please kindly just concentrate. You people can play the role of a backbone with respect to each and every business organization, because daily basis, whenever the organization perform changes in the structure of their business organization, okay, means whenever they introduce something new, either the merger, either the acquisition, either the joint venture, okay, or even with respect to the structure of existing business organization, if they perform some changes, so definitely they must to perform changes with respect to their IS and IT infrastructure. Now, most of the business organization, most of the business owner, okay, whether it is a State Bank of India, which is a leading lender, which is a leading financial institute in the country, whether it is a LIC, okay, whether it is any e-commerce company, whether it is a Tata Group, you name it, all this organizations are well versed that how to operate their business. But whenever they perform changes in the structure of their business, they are not that much smart with respect to the technology also. Okay, they know that they can take advantage from the technology. That's why at the beginning I mentioned Maruti Suzuki, and with the technology, Maruti Suzuki is into the market from last more than 4 decades. There is no issue with RC Bhargav Saab with the Maruti Suzuki that how to design or develop the car. But now, which car, whether to manufacture the SUV, whether to manufacture the LUV, whether to manufacture the compact SUV, now here without IS and IT, they are unable to take the effective decision making. But here again, there is a problem. There are n number of technologies are available. Okay. Even now, out of 100%, 90 to 95% business organization, I hope all of you would agree with me, are enabled with ERP. And ERP is again become the lifeline. And now if ERP become the lifeline, then again suddenly IS auditor would be the most demanding auditor with respect to each and every business organization, not only just to perform the audit, because more or less now, whenever we are doing the IS audit, so if organization is ERP enabled, so default, we can say that we are doing the ERP audit. And out of n number of ERP products, market leader is the SAP. Like 70 to 80% market is under the umbrella of SAP. And now if any chartered accountant possess a very good knowledge about the ERP, possess a very good knowledge, having expertise into any of the SAP module, even with all, okay, whether it is a FICO, whether it is a PP, whether it is a MM, whether it is a HANA, and then how to perform integration, because organizations having the capacity to invest into the IT infrastructure, but organizations don't know that how to enable, how to configure the technology, how to connect the technology with their business process. And here again, they need required assistance, they need required the help of people like you, especially the consultant. Because if I'm using the term consultant, then default I'm considering that all of you are very good auditor. Because similarly, if I'm using the term auditor, then default I'm considering that all of you having a very good chartered accountancy skill, because consultant is a broader profile. Okay, consultant is not only responsible just for audit, but consultant even responsible to create the environment within the organization. Means if organization want to implement the new technology, organization planning to migrate from existing technology to the new technology, like for example, at this moment, like I mentioned that 90 to 95% business organizations are enabled with ERP. And now the manner in which organizations are performing their business transactions. Okay, and at the beginning, I mentioned that data is the lifeline. But now let me use one statement. I'm saying now there is hardly any business organization which is working only with the data, although data is the lifeline. But now I'm using the statement that there is hardly any business organization which is working with the data, because now this data is converted into the big data. And once this data is converted into the big data, then now again, organizations are facing a new challenge. Okay, that first of all, how to gather, how to collect quality oriented data, even at the time of collection of the data, how to test quality of the data. Okay, then how to procure this data. Now procurement of the data, that is the storage of the data, is again become the challenge for the many business organization. And this will create, wherever the challenges are coming, all these challenges are creating opportunity for IS auditor. Please, wherever I'm using the challenges, like for example, COVID is a crisis for you and me, but one medico who is expertise into the respiratory system, so for that medico, it created the opportunity. And many of the medicos, many of the doctors, those who are expertise into the respiratory system, they generated a very good revenue, because according to the management, I hope all of you well versed with the one term, that is SWOT. Whenever the crisis occurred in one part default, it parallel create opportunity for someone else. Similarly, with respect to the business organization, now when data is converted into the big data, now the first challenge is how to gather this data, how to store this data, how to process this data, and now selection of the technology, because now every organization must to migrate from existing technology to the new technology. And again, it is not necessary that each and every organization having the capacity to invest just like the big organization, like capacity of Mukesh Ambani, capacity of Reliance, capacity of Adani Group, capacity of State Bank of India, capacity of LIC to invest with respect to the technology, and capacity of any cooperative bank. I hope all of you would agree with me. One cooperative bank which is providing services only within Yamunanagar, that banking organization don't have that much huge capacity to invest into the technology, just like the State Bank of India. And they are looking some smart people like you, some smart consultant, those who can become the helping hand of those business organization. And I hope along with this, along with the banking, I hope all of you would agree with me that India is a hub of SME and MSME. Okay. Even now, the government has also realized that SME and MSME is the economic engine of the country. And many SME and MSME, they don't have the capacity. They all want to co-op. They all want to enable their business processes with the latest technology. But each and every SME, each and every MSME don't have the capacity to invest like a big enterprises. And now they are looking someone like you, those who become the helping hand, to guide them, to advise them, to suggest them that which technology is the best technology, via which they able to maintain continuity of their business even during the time of the crisis. Okay. And whenever the organization performing, migrating from one technology to another technology, this technically we known as the change management. So under the current scenario, the change management is occurring whenever the organizations are shifting their paradigm from one technology to the another technology. And here, people like you, those who are qualified IAS auditor, those who are possess a very good understanding about the technology and what under the technology, I'll just give you about that into the brief, because we are into not the learning. Our agenda is just to opportunity, because today you will gain, and maybe in future we'll reconnect, we'll discuss in detail at that time. So now here, this technology, and here every stage, what organization has to apply, they have to apply the BPR, that is the business process reengineering. So their expectation is from people like you that you should be very, very smart, that you should thoroughly understood their business, you should thoroughly understood their business model, you should thoroughly understood their business process, you should thoroughly understood whatever the technology at this moment they are using, like most of the small SME and MSME. I hope all of you, having experience, you performed a good number of audits, are till date working with the tele environment. But now in last couple of years, almost at a small level organizations, they realized that only via tele, they unable to achieve the ultimate solution, ultimate productivity, which is known as the TQM, which is their desired outcome. Okay, because through tele, what they can do, they can perform the data recording, even up, they can prepare up to some level, they can maintain the data, even partially it support the database, because tele is dedicated with respect to the inventory and partially supported dedicated with respect to the accounting and partially supported the inventory management. But now organizations want to derive n number of different type of services. Those services they can't be, so they must to migrate. Now here, with the big data, they all heard about the cloud computing for a storage purpose. Then again, with respect to the cloud computing, they heard about private cloud, they heard about public cloud, they heard about the hybrid cloud. Please kindly just concentrate. This is what the scenario is into the corporate right now. Even especially organizations, those which are working at the mid-sized level, organizations, those which are working at the small level. These are the challenges where they are looking the support from people like you, those who are the qualified IAS auditor, those who possess a very good understanding about the technology to become their helping hand. You don't need to perform any investment. You don't be a you not be responsible to design or develop the technology, but you have to guide them. Consultant is responsible. Consultant is just playing the role of a helping hand. Okay. And again, which vehicle, which technology is the right technology to derive their business, here you have to guide them. Now, public cloud is available, private cloud is available, hybrid cloud is available. They heard about IaaS, they heard about PaaS, they heard about SaaS, that through cloud, even they don't need to create the infrastructure. And a moment before I mentioned that many of the business organizations, those which are working at the small level, they don't have the capacity to create their huge IS or IT infrastructure. They don't have the capacity to create a number of different type of the database server. They don't have the capacity to create their own web server. They don't have the capacity to create their own application server. They don't have the capacity even to implement the supply chain management. And please now kindly just concentrate. I use now one more new term, which again become the challenge. And let me use one more parallel statement. I hope all of you would agree with me. Under the current scenario, there is hardly any business organization which is not a part of a global supply chain management. Okay. Each and every business organization is a part of a supply chain management. Okay. If organization is providing the services, is working within the country, then it is a domestic supply chain management. But if suppose organization is providing or offering their services globally, then it becomes the part of the global supply chain management. And under the supply chain management, I hope all of you heard about that there is a vendor organization, there is a manufacturer, there is a warehouse, okay, warehouse service provider, okay, there is a point of sale, there are customers. So n number of entities are interlinked or interrelated, and supply chain management won't be possible without ERP. Okay. And now there are many business organizations, because now we are using two different type of the models under the supply chain management. Please. One is B2B, another is B2C. Okay. And I hope all of you would agree with me. Many of the business owner, they only want to maintain continuity with their business whenever the changes occurred. Okay. They don't want to disturb their business cycle. They only concern about to maintain the continuity of the business. But here, whenever they are shifting from one technology to another technology, there is a fundamental challenge, that is a security. And from the auditor point of view, because here only auditor can play the key role, because only auditor, because there are many people, there are many domain experts possess a very good knowledge about the finance, about the technology, but auditor is the only person who possesses one unique skill, that is how to perform the risk assessment. And whenever we'll think about the risk assessment, then auditor is the only person who always concerned about risk identification, who always concerned about risk analysis. Then whenever we'll think about the risk, then default, we think about parallel two more terms, that is the vulnerability and threats. Okay. And now whenever the organization perform changes, into the structure of their business organization, okay, Means whenever the organization perform expansion with respect to their existing business structure. Now, whenever they perform the expansion, now definitely from the professional user point of view, they created more and more revenue sources. Size of their business would increase, would be expanded, more and more volume of the business, more and more transaction, more and more customer, more and more business associate. But parallel, I hope all of you would agree with me, especially from the auditor point of view, risk with respect to the business means whenever the organization perform expansion with respect to their business, like for example, Air India plus Vistara, like Tata is planning to integrate Air India and Vistara. Now till date, Air India is independent entity. Vistara is independent entity. Now Tata is concerned about the productivity with respect to their business. Now they are planning to integrate both this. And here again, they need people like you, those who are expertise in performing the business integration. And whenever we perform the business integration, this is the technology integration also in the background. Okay. And now here, again to perform the risk assessment, here again to perform the risk analysis. Here, there are a number of vulnerabilities involved, because if one of the business entity contains some vulnerabilities, contains some threats, then default, when we're going to integrate this, then the percentage of vulnerability and percentage of threat would be spread out after the integration. And it might be organization is concerned about enhancement with respect to the productivity after the integration, but might be merger or acquisition would be converted into the crisis. So here they need required people like you. Even with respect to the banking, I hope all of you are aware of, like according to Nirmala Sitharaman, although 27 public sectors banks are converted into the 12. Okay. Under the umbrella of State Bank of India, each and every associate bank of State Bank of India, each and every associate bank of State Bank of India is now under the umbrella of State Bank of India. And now State Bank of India size is huge. It is an integration of 10 banks. PNB contain the 3 banks. And now in the background, people like you played a key role. They are not responsible to run the business with respect to the banking organization. They are not responsible with respect to that how to run a particular business organization, but here to perform the risk assessment before integration, risk assessment before integration of to technology, to perform the risk analysis. And now here, along with the vulnerability, along with the threat, along with the risk, auditor is also concerned about. Auditor is the only person who think about all this, concerned about the asset with respect to the business organization. And now, or default, auditor is always think about the risk management. And whenever we'll think about to mitigate the impact of the risk, to mitigate the impact of vulnerability, to mitigate the impact of the threat, then auditor is the only person, I hope all of you would agree with me, who we consider is expertise in one solution which is known as controls. Because with respect to any risk, with respect to any vulnerability, with respect to any threat, auditor always advise effective implementation of the control. Now, many of the business organizations, they are smart to co-op with the technology, but they don't know. This is a challenge. They don't know that how to mitigate the risk with respect to their data, how to mitigate the risk with respect to their hardware, how to mitigate the risk with respect to their software, how to mitigate the risk with respect to their business process. And when they going to integrate one business process with another business process, when they going to enable their business process with the software application. Now, if software application contain some vulnerability, it might be organization is looking to enhance, improve their productivity, but might be it will be turned into the trauma. Okay. Revanji, my screen is accessible now. It's moving.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes, now it is visible.
Thank you. I was into the flow, sir. Sorry.
No problem, sir.
Okay. And now just see, according to the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India and under the umbrella of Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, dedicated committee which is responsible for the productivity of this course, that is Information System Audit, which we also known as DISA, okay, as well as FAFD also. And now under the leadership, because the captain is Nanda Saab, so under the leadership of Nanda Saab, team is doing excellent job. Okay, now just see the things which you people, those of you already done, they all would agree with me. Learning through this particular course. Now, this is the only course, especially PQC course, which is, there are number of PQC courses are defined for the member, but this is the only PQC course, according to me, as per my analysis, as per my understanding, where members are getting maximum exposure and according to the current need, according to the current requirement, and as per the dynamic changes into the business, those which are happening, not every day, but every moment. Okay, whether it is a SEBI, now SEBI is linked with NASDAQ, Dow Jones. So smartly, this course is covering everything. You just see, you are getting the knowledge. What about the role of the ISA? What about the information system auditor? You are getting the knowledge. What about the role of information technology auditor? Although there are many things, but these are some of the fundamental, just for your knowledge point of view, I just highlighted. Okay, you are getting the complete, you think about anything related to IS and IT infrastructure. Okay, you think about the database, you think about the data warehousing, you think about the data lake, you think about the big data, you think about the one of the most wanted areas at this moment, and according to me, from the chartered accountant point of view, from the auditor point of view, at this moment, although you are going for any type of audit, ultimately, if organization is purely ERP enabled, okay, if organization is fully technology enabled, although you are doing a different type of audit, whether it is a concrete audit, whether it is an internal audit, but ultimately in each and every audit, you must to communicate with the server of the organization, which is the backbone. Okay, now if auditor don't have the good knowledge, don't have the good understanding that how to communicate with the database server, how to communicate with the web server, okay, then again, what is the difference between the database server and the web server? Then what is the difference between the database server and data warehousing? Okay, then what is the difference between database server, data warehousing, then data lake? Okay, and how this database, data warehousing, data lake playing a key role with respect to data analytics, because just few years before, we only concerned about the data analysis. Okay, but now data analysis converted into data analytics, and now data analytics converted is shifted into the data science, where we concern about artificial intelligence, where we concern about machine learning, where we concern about deep learning. And now please kindly just concentrate now from the auditor point of view, especially this is what the beauty of this particular course. And now I hope those of you are pursuing, those of you already done, and those of you are regularly updated yourself with the institute, especially with this particular course. They all are aware of that since August 2021, now DAP, the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, which is the umbrella, launched the new version of this course, that is ESA 3.0. Okay. So whatever the loopholes, as per the current need, as per the current requirement, okay, which auditor must be aware of, each and everything we try to incorporate into the new version, into 3.0. So in between ESA 2.0 and in ESA 3.0, we perform the BPR, that is the business process reengineering. And here again, we set the timeline, we set the standard that at regular interval, as per the business need, as per the business organization requirement, whenever they perform the changes, then parallel, we also must upgrade this particular course. Means each and every qualified IAS auditor from the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, this is the objective of the institute, would be fit to provide the best services as per the current need, current requirement. Not like this, that if suppose organization asks to the chartered accountant, to the auditor during the time of IAS audit, that what is the difference between the data and the big data, then this become a challenge that auditor is unable to understood that what is the concept of volume, velocity, variety, veracity, how this 4V suddenly associated with respect to the data, and how this data is converted into the big data. Then with respect to the big data, what about the concept of the structured data? What about the concept of unstructured data? What about the concept of the semi-structured data? Okay, now daily basis, you all are dealing with the e-filing, you people are dealing with Central Board of Direct Taxes, you people are dealing with the Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Custom. Okay, you people daily perform the transaction via the JSON file, you are performing the XML file. So this data would come, you just see, institute try hard to provide you the best knowledge, the best learning. Then not only objective is not institute, objective is not to prepare you just simply as an IAS auditor, but objective is that you people can able to expand your horizon, you people can able to think like a consultant, even you become the helping hand of many startup also. This is again the one more emerging area for many of you, and I hope all of you would agree with me. Like you name it, any startup, whether it is a Baiju, which is at this moment the most productive startup in the country with respect to the edtech, or whether excuse me, whether it is a Farm Easy, although all these organizations are providing a services related to a particular domain, but in the backbone is the ERP, in the backbone is the supply chain management, in the backbone there is a database server, in the backbone there is a networking. Then again with respect to the networking, okay, like till date organization, like each and every business user, each and every banker, each and every top level management, they heard about that without networking they are unable to survive. But they don't know that this is a challenge, that which user they should connect with the intranetwork, which user they should connect with the extra network, which user they should connect with the internet. Okay. And again they don't know that how to perform the risk assessment with respect to the networking, and maximum vulnerabilities, maximum threats exist with respect to the network, how to implement the effective controls and policy to mitigate the risk with respect to the public network, how to implement the effective controls and policy to mitigate the risk with respect to the private network. Then again with respect to the private network, the organization is categorized into a number of functional units. It is not necessary that one functional user having the privilege to interfere into the decision-making process of another functional unit user. So even with respect to the private network also, how to implement the effective control. Why I'm sharing this, please kindly just Because all these are the challenges. There are hardly at this moment, out of 100%, there are hardly less than 10% organization, especially in our country, those which implemented effective control, effective policy at each and every level. That's why in last 2 years, percentage of frauds, especially percentage of cyber frauds and percentage of the digital frauds suddenly shoot up, because each and every tech organization, they honestly equip with the technology without implementing, without performing the risk assessment, without performing the risk analysis, without implementation of effective controls and the policy. And when suddenly any hacker is not usually the outsider, even from internally. Okay, when suddenly some unethical practice happened with respect to their business organization, then they realize the importance of the controls and the policy. And now there are many chartered accountants, I hope some of you also, those who are highlighting that they are expertise, even those who are IAS auditor, those who are DISA qualified, those who are CISA qualified, even because default this course is covering the some part of the FAFD also. Okay, you are getting some knowledge here related to FAFD through this particular course. So there are many chartered accountants, those who done or possess a very good understanding about IAS audit. They are highlighting that they are now expertise in controls implementation, that how to design or develop the control, how to design or develop the policy, and whenever the organization perform the changes in the structure of their business organization. And I hope all of you would agree with me. This is always advisable that organization must review their control, their policy on regular basis, periodical basis. And under the current scenario, like I mentioned number of times in last few minutes, that organizations are working under the dynamic environment. Okay, every moment they are searching for the new business opportunity. Okay, now you just see there is no relationship between the airport management and between the port business. There is no relationship between the port business and the rice business. There is no relationship between the rice business and the cement business. Okay, but Gautam Adani is now operating all these businesses. With respect to each and every business, there is a dedicated IS and IT infrastructure. Okay, as well as Gautam Adani is at the top level. So definitely he required a one dashboard. Okay, definitely he required some KPIs, key performance indicator, and using those KPIs, he able to evaluate or perform the measurement that what about the productivity, what about the contribution of one business vertical with respect to the total productivity of the Adani Group. Now just see, one is security, one is control assessment. And now whenever we'll think about the control assessment, then again, I hope all of you would agree with me, especially from the auditor point of view. There is no existence of any control without policy. And then again, whenever we'll think about to design or develop the effective control and the policy, then default, we think about to design or develop the effective compliance also. And chartered accountant and auditor is the only person we consider who possess a very good understanding about control assessment, about compliance assessment. So this is the one area. Another area, at each and every stage to perform the valuation. Okay, now before implementation and after implementation and during the execution, because analysis basically is a testing. Okay, wherever we are using this data analysis, data analytics, data science. Okay, because data science we are using with respect to the big data. Okay, where we are dealing with the, and machine learning we are using for the pattern recognition. Okay, with respect to the CRM, even with respect to the forensic auditor, with respect to the fraudster. Okay, what about the behavior? What about the behavioral aspect of any fraudster? So all this we can detect via machine learning, and machine learning is nothing but this is a one type of data analytics process. So this is the second emerging area. One is the security, where you can provide the solution related to the controls, related to the policy. Okay. Another is data analytics. Okay, now here organizations created a huge infrastructure, especially under the current scenario. Revanji, kindly confirm. I changed the screen. It is accessible.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
And I hope font size is comfortable. It is readable.
Yes, absolutely.
Lovely. Very good. Because, okay. Although there are many areas, but considering the current scenario, according to me, especially from IAS auditor point of view and chartered accountant plus, if you possess a very good domain knowledge means you are expertise, you having a very good understanding with respect to a particular business sector. That may be banking, that may be insurance, that may be cement manufacturing, okay, that may be FMCG, any sector. Okay, and along with this, if you possess a very good understanding, very good awareness, very good knowledge, because this domain is a practical IT. Okay, although you people have not to implement, you have to provide the services as a consultant again and again, but expectation from consultant is very high, and consultant should be thorough, means thorough, not the superficial knowledge. Because if consultant is not thorough, then default, this is again a one type of vulnerability, and this would be converted into the threat, because if there is no vulnerability, then there is no threat. Okay, now why organizations? So consultant should be thorough, and according to me, business domain plus if you are thorough with the technology like this under the current scenario, you people can play the key role here. Number one, like I mentioned, ISA, definitely information system auditor. Then CSO is chief security officer. Now this become a most wanted designation, like the manner in which each and every corporate sector, especially in manufacturing unit, in Fortune 500 as well as in big enterprises, you observe that there is a dedicated security department. Similarly, now with respect to the IS and IT infrastructure, because organizations are created their own private data centers where they are keeping their n number of server. And what I mentioned at the beginning, data is the lifeline. Okay, so data is the most valuable asset for each and every business organization. Okay, each and every business process is enabled with n number of different type of hardware. So hardware is again a valuable asset. Okay, and now to run the business process, organizations are using n number of different type of the software applications. Okay, now organizations are using the different module of ERP. Okay, like if suppose we'll consider the case of SAP, then organization having PP module, organization having MM module, organization having the FICO module, organization having the BRF plus, organization having the GRC, and all this organization is using for analytic purpose also. Different dedicated or ready-made software applications also, like organizations are using IDEA, ACL. So all these are the different valuable asset, and organization want to preserve all this. So in-house internal, they appoint a subject matter expert, and usually auditor, usually a chartered accountant, usually a person is DISA or CISA qualified, is appointed for this particular role, that is a CSO. Similarly here, CISO, that is Chief Information Security Officer also. And Then the consultant, which I am again consultant with respect to each and every area. If organization till date don't have the ERP implementation, organization is planning to implement the ERP, organization already having the ERP, but now organization planning to migrate from standalone ERP to the cloud-based ERP. Okay, now organization already having the ERP implementation. Okay, and again, one more thing, I hope all of you would agree with me. Without assistance of any consultant, no organization think about to implement the ERP. And there are many chartered accountants in the country. I hope some of you are also providing such type of the services. Definitely, I'm sure about that. That without brain of consultant, no organization think about to implement the ERP. Similarly, without brain or without assistance of any consultant, no organization think about to implement the cloud computing also. Okay, because they don't know that which cloud is the reliable cloud for them. Okay, like in the market, AWS is also there, Azure is also there, IBM cloud is also there, Oracle cloud is also there. Okay, and what? Over the cloud, they have to keep their data. Now, which data is the standard data, which data is the sensitive data we also known as the critical data, then which data is highly sensitive data. Now please, intentionally I'm using all this term because only auditor is the person who is able to differentiate, because for auditor point of view, from the auditor point of view, every data is not a data. Okay, some data would come under the category of the standard data, some data would come under the category of the standard critical data, some data would come under the category of highly critical data. This critical data we also known as the sensitive data. So now here the challenge is, which data organization should keep into their physical server, which data they should keep into the cloud server. Then if suppose organization is availing the services with respect to the private cloud, organizations availing the services with respect to the public cloud, organization availing the services with respect to the hybrid cloud, okay, then again become the challenge that which data they should keep into the private cloud, which data they should keep into the public cloud. Because now many of the startup, I hope you people are aware of, and many of the software application, I hope you people are aware of, are dedicated, running 100% purely cloud enabled. Okay, now if it is a purely cloud enabled, what about in the background? Whether they are using dedicated only the private cloud, they are using a public cloud, they are using a hybrid cloud, and here without consultant, no organization, because this is a one type of a control. Okay, this is a, because cloud service provider, whom technically we known as CSP, cloud service provider, is basically a third-party service provider. And from auditor point of view, all of you would agree with me, in any business organization, in any business process, more and more involvement of the third-party service provider, then default risk with respect to the business would definitely be on the higher side. Okay, and under the current scenario, each and every business organization is not expertise, especially with respect to the technology. Each and every business organization is not expertise in each and every type of the business process. Okay, because through technology also they are availing some services. So they outsource. Default, there is an exposure of the third-party service provider, but third-party service provider can able to communicate, can able to access the business up to what level? Again, to perform the risk assessment, again to perform the risk analysis, again to implement the effective control, again to regular basis perform the daily analysis. Because whenever this third-party service provider log in into the server of the business organization which is availing the services, so now to perform the log management, to perform the session management, which is a one type of a data. Okay, all this knowledge, we consider that only IAS auditor. And through this course, we try hard, institute tried hard to train you people during the period of, because now earlier this course was defined with respect to the 7 module, which is now converted into the 6 module. Okay, and 6 into 2, 12 days training, and per day standard 6 to 8 hours if we consider 6 into 12. So around you are getting the practical training of 12 into this. It's a very good 72 hours training you people are getting. So expectation of institute is again very high from the pass out IAS auditor, those who pass out, those who done the DISA, because even according to me, those who done the CISA also. Okay. Now in CISA, you are not getting that much exposure because there are not regular the classes. But here institute is taking the extra efforts to provide you. And again, you are getting during the period of, those of you already done, they all would agree with my this version, that during the period of training of 10 days, 12 days, earlier it was 10 days, now it is 12 days. You are getting exposure to interact with heterogeneous subject matter expert people from different regions, those who are providing services in different profile. So this is again a very good learning environment from the institute side. So even expectation of the institute is again very high from their trained IAS auditor, that they should provide the best services. Then whatever the feedback later on the institute would receive would be at the higher side here. Now just see, there is one more emerging area, which is nothing but this is a one type of a control. And this is a new type of a database also. And this is such a technology where, according to me, only chartered accountant and especially IAS auditor can play the key role, that is the blockchain. You all heard about the database. Okay, and with respect to the database, you heard about the market leaders, that is Oracle. Okay. With respect to the database, you also heard about RDBMS. Okay. With respect to the database, you also heard about SQL, because these are the related terms. Please kindly, I'm intentionally emphasizing, because if honestly you people are well equipped, I'm telling you more and more, you people are thorough with respect to the technology. If your technical skill is better, along with the communication skill, which is again fundamental from the auditor point of view, then nobody can able to disturb your productivity, especially at individual point of view from the auditor, not within the country and globally. Okay, now you heard about the SQL. Okay, with respect to the database, till date you heard about the table, but now we are shifted. We are already shifted, and most of the business organizations are under the migration phase from data to the big data. There is hardly almost every organization. Okay, now suddenly SQL, along with the SQL, I hope some of you definitely aware of. Along with the SQL, there is a new area which is emerging. That is a new SQL. Okay, and now in place of Oracle, I hope you people heard about the MongoDB. Okay, MongoDB we are using with respect to the unstructured data. And in future upcoming days, I am telling you, wherever you go for IAS audit, especially IAS audit, and if from the auditor point of view, you don't possess a good understanding, you don't possess a good awareness, you don't possess a good knowledge that how to differentiate between the RDBMS database, that is the SQL database, which is in the tabular form, and the database which is prepared using NoSQL, using the MongoDB, which is basically known as the document database. Okay, here the database is prepared is in the form of the document. Okay, this is a column database, and now there is a one more, that is a graph database. But now we concern about the security also. So there is a new flavor of database also, new flavor, which is known as the blockchain database. Okay, so how to transform existing ERP, because ERP is again nothing. I hope many of you are working, I hope so, from last many years, and many of you performed a good number of audits, all the different type of audits. So, and I consider that all of you, those who performed a good number of audit, they all having very good exposure about the ERP, and they all would agree with my this version that ERP is nothing, but ERP is a type of database. The main attraction of ERP, it is the integrated system. It works on to one principle, that is the JIT. Okay, just in time. Okay, punchline is right information, right user at the right time. Okay, integration of different business, that real time we can able to access the data. Okay, mostly the dynamic data, because here through ERP we can manage both the static data as well as the dynamic data, but in the tabular form. Now, how to migrate ERP data into the blockchain database? Now, when organizations planning to implement blockchain, please kindly just concentrate. This is again the one more area where you people can capture the market, and especially those of you are in the beginning phase of the career. I consider that some of you are in the bracket of 0 to 5 year, and some of you less than 10 year, even the senior chartered accountant, but especially those who are less than 10-year experienced chartered accountant, according to me. For them, this is the emerging area, that how to migrate from centralized, because ERP is a centralized database, and in the blockchain we are using a new concept, that is a distributed database. So now how to transform centralized database into the decentralized or distributed database? Okay, then with respect to the blockchain, you also heard about, now ERP works under the client server environment, blockchain works under the peer-to-peer network environment. Please, these are the challenges. Organizations aware of what is blockchain. You have not to guide them that what is blockchain. You have to help them that after implementation of blockchain, because even from the IAS auditor point of view, this is again the one emerging area, that is a blockchain consultant. And blockchain consultant is a separate profile. Okay, other than the normal IAS auditor, other than the normal control assessment. Okay, then one is distributed, another is peer-to-peer. Then again, from the auditor point of view, auditor default are chartered accountant, and chartered accountant default we consider that they possess a very good knowledge about the accounting. Okay, now till date, all of you are aware of double entry system. Now in blockchain, there is a new concept, that is a triple entry system. Now how to implement, how to migrate from double entry system into the triple entry system and into the blockchain. Now there is a new concept, that is a DLT, that is a distributed ledger technology. Now ledger is a concept. We consider that only chartered accountant, because all of you are well versed with the tally. Okay, and all of you agree with me that whenever we perform any data recording via voucher, okay, which is known as the entry level document, so data would be recorded via voucher, but data which is recorded through voucher would be stored into the ledger. Okay, but till date tally is under the centralized, and now here it is the DLT, that is the distributed ledger technology. So how to migrate centralized ledgers into the distributed ledger? Then there is a one more new technique here, hyper ledger technology, that is HLT. Okay, then again blockchain we are using as a type of a internal control to mitigate the risk. Okay. And the main attraction of the blockchain, like till date with respect to the data security, all of you heard about, because each and every IAS auditor, we consider that he or she possesses a very good knowledge about the data security. And with respect to the data security default, we consider that each and every chartered accountant possesses a very good understanding about one control, which is known as cryptography. Okay. Although cryptography is a one type of a logical control. And under the cryptography, all of you aware of encryption, decryption, okay, KPI, PKI infrastructure. But now, and this is a two-way process. Now here in the blockchain, there is a new concept that is a hashing. Now how to implement the hashing, which is a one-way process. Okay, and hashing is the backbone, is the centralized concept or the nucleus of the blockchain. Then how to implement, then again, how to implement blockchain with respect to the supply chain management. Then with respect to the supply chain management, there are different entities are involved. Okay, then how to restrict the access right of the different user. We need required effective policy, and this policy framework under the blockchain we prepare in the form of a smart contract. Okay, and as per my knowledge, as per my awareness, as per my involvement with this technology, only auditor, only chartered accountant, and especially the one who is IAS auditor, who possesses a very good understanding, who is having a thorough knowledge about the database, he or she can play the key role that how to prepare the smart contract. Because the smart contracts are nothing but smart contracts are basically the type of the protocols or the type of the policy where only you people can play the key role. So this is again the emerging area. Please have a look. Then default, we discuss about the big data analytics where effectively we are using. Now here again the challenges, like all of you heard about with respect to the big data. Till date with respect to the data analysis, with respect to the data analytics, I default consider that all of you are thorough in Excel. Okay, but I'm not sure about that how many of you know the difference between Excel 2016 and Excel 2019, between Excel 2019 and now the new version, Excel 2021. Okay, now Excel 2019 is purely cloud enabled, and now the main attraction of Excel 2019, especially 2016 onwards, is Power Query, okay, Power Pivot, Power View. Please have a look. All this, okay, although we can use Power Query, we can use Power Pivot, we can use Power View via Excel also, as well as there is a dedicated tool is also available, which is known as for data visualization, that is Power BI. Now here again become a challenge for the organization. Like you and me want to buy a car, okay, and we are looking a certain type of the feature. Suppose you and me want to buy a car again of SUV segment. Okay, now SUV segment car is offering by Hyundai, is offering by Honda, is offering now by Maruti Suzuki also, like a Grand Vitara. Okay, now which feature, which product is 100% able to fulfill my business need, my business requirement. Now here again, selection of the technology, whether Power BI is the right technology for data analytics purpose, whether Excel is able to fulfill my requirement, or whether I should use Python. Because now, if I am not only concerned about the analytics, I am concerned about the machine learning, then machine learning solution I am unable to get via Excel, and I am unable to derive through Power BI. For that purpose, I must to switch on to Python. Then under the Python, how to implement the pandas, where to use matplotlib, where to use NumPy, all this. Please, honestly, I'm telling you, looks very easy, But if you honestly talk with your client, you talk with the business organization, because under the current scenario, I hope all of you would agree with me, each and every business driver, each and every business owner, he or she is also having a very good awareness. They know that which technology to use. Now, if suppose they are taking services from people like you and me, especially as a consultant, so their expectation is very high because they are bearing the extra cost. Okay, now here, where to use the TensorFlow, where to use Tableau, where to use source, where to use R earlier, because now R is hardly providing any services because there are many features come into the Python. So really we are using now the R, maximum services we are availing. So how we can integrate all this different technology means how we can enable blockchain with the ERP, how we can enable blockchain with the Power BI, with the how we can enable Power BI, Python with the cloud computing. Please have a look. So to create this entire ecosystem, organizations need required regular assistance. And this is not a one-time. This is not a one-time job. I am telling you, organization need required such type of the services on regular basis. And once you associated with any organization, and if suppose one of the project successfully you execute it, I'm telling you, no organization means no organization want to leave you, especially because each and every organization now they need a person who thoroughly involved into the business, who understood their business, who advise them and suggest them that which technology is the best, because their concern is not to, their concern is quality, cost and time, that how to enhance, how to improve the quality, as well as how to cut down the input cost, and parallel how to cut down, how to mitigate the risk after implementing the effective controls and the policy. Okay, so this is a complete ecosystem. If you able to prepare, you able to prepare the framework with respect to, and please all of you perform audit with respect to the different organization. And we need people with respect to the FMCG sector, we need auditors with respect to banking sector, we need auditors with respect to the insurance sector, we need auditors with respect to cement manufacturing, we need auditors with respect to automobile manufacturing, we need auditor with respect to the retail sector. So this complete solution, we won't need required only with respect to a particular sector, dedicated only with respect to the banking. Please don't think limited. Please expand your horizon. More and more you expand, I am telling you, 24/7, 365 days would be a minimum time you feel, and the huge revenue, because ultimately more and more revenue should come for the professional. That's why we always perform the value addition learning. That's why we want to enhance, improve our productivity. There are many things, but let me just over to Revanji. If any query beforehand, because Saurav is also eagerly waiting. So is some of the queries from your hand, although time won't allow, but some of the queries definitely I like to answer.
Right now, we have not received any queries from our, all the members who have joined us. But as soon as we receive any queries, I'll shoot away through to you.
Revanji, I hope I'm able to provide some picture. People gain something.
Sir, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. Kindly, just over to you. You can continue because Saurabh is waiting. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for such a beautiful interaction, sir. And it was really nice to hear from you.
Almighty God is great.
Now, I won't take much of the time of our, all the members who have joined us, and I will just formally introduce
Just like Nanda Saab, I am also having the special bonding with Yamuna Nagar. I visited couple of times for IS audit batch.
So nice of you, sir.
Fond of to, and again like to visit. I love to visit the Gurdwara at your place.
So amazing, sir. Most welcome anytime.
Yeah, definitely. I like to see you.
Thank you, sir. Well, now I will formally introduce Dr. Saurabh Maheshwari to all our members who have joined with us. Well, he's an edupreneur, educational strategist, national trainer, national awardee, author, and a poet. He is a career startup mentor, life coach, an IS auditor, data analyst, and an academician. Well, currently he's serving as a director at Wise Consultants. He's also serving as director of business development with Saras 3D EdTech Private Limited. He's an independent external advisor at 21K School, Career Point University, and Podar institutions. He has also been a startup mentor at SGT University, Atal Community Innovation Center. Well, he's also been associated as a national trainer with ICI with an experience of more than 11 years, and he has trained more than 11,000 chartered accountants. Well, with these words, may I please invite to you Dr. Saurabh Maheshwari. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Revanji. Thank you very much for a nice introduction, and I hope I am audible to you all.
Yes, you are, sir.
Great. Thank you. So I'm just sharing my screen. Just confirm it is visible.
Yes, it is visible, sir.
Great. Thank you very much. It is always a pleasure interacting with chartered accountants, because as a professional, I think we always share a lot of information, lot of platforms wherein we can exchange some valuable things for each other. That is what all these platforms are providing. And good words by Nanda sir and good deliberation by Suri sir is always something which sets a platform for me. And I have been trying to take this legacy forward, and I'm sure that next 1.5 hours with me is again going to be a valuable for you all. So anyway, as you all know that technology is now taking the mainstream for almost all the businesses, and you must have done your information audit course, you might have done your FAFD course, and might be aware about how the technology is involved in different organizations. And during pandemic, I think it was clearly visible that without this particular platform, we'll not be able to do the business. So taking that particular discussion forward, my entire session will be focusing on what are the opportunities. But before that, let's try to see the market size. Let's try to see where the problem exists in the market. And that too with certain facts and figures which have been analyzed from the Indian perspective as well as from the global angle as well. Right. So I'm just forwarding my slide. So see, let's see and let's accept the fact that yes, the fact one is said that we are in a paceful movement for automation and digitalization on a global level. Typically from Indian perspective, as automation has started slightly late, and as the organizations, corporate world is huge enough, is large enough, at the same time population size is huge enough, so it is going to take a long duration for the entire automation process. But as the government has already initiated that process of automation from different angles, I feel like next a decade or so is going to be an area wherein technology and technology related opportunities are going to be enormous, huge, and amazing. So just to tell you, the pace of digital transformation across industries has escalated immensely since the onset of pandemic. And we all have been witnessing into that see, we all have never been into these kind of digital platforms and digital interactive sessions before pandemic. And after pandemic, I think this has become a necessity of all. It is providing us convenience. It is providing us accessibility to the resources all over the world at a very affordable cost. Fine. So all dependencies on all businesses today is on technology. And especially when I'm talking about technology, let's broaden the horizon. It includes cloud, it includes data, it includes AI, it includes IoT, it includes blockchain, it includes multiple other things which are in a process of coming down to the business arena in next, few years or so. So that means that creates a huge altogether a platform which is now working on a remote mode, online mode, digital mode, tech-driven mode, wherein human involvement is still existing. I'm not discarding that humans are not required, but depending human work is not that important as depending on the technological word. So the term digital transformation across the broad spectrum that takes care that human engagement experience transformation, and we are using all three angles of the technology. One is the front end angle, wherein you interact. One is the back end angle, wherein you have your back end database and all. And the third angle is the communication channel, wherein you try to make sure that with those communication channel like internet, intranet or extranet, you are connected with the different departments, you are connected with the different organizations, and you are connected with the different bodies on compliances basis as well. So digital transformation is a continuous and ongoing process. You all have seen, I'll just quote a couple of examples for you. You all have seen banking scenarios and how it has emerged from 2000 till 2022. So from just an ATM machine, which was installed in front of a bank, let's imagine ICICI Bank. Then you have to search out an ICICI Bank ATM if you are having that ICICI Bank credit card or a ATM card. It's not possible for us to put up that card into any other ATM machine. That was the scenario one. Then gradually, next level, next level, next level. And today, you are having almost all services available either through an online platform, that is net banking platform, or maybe through an ATM machine. So you hardly need actually an interactive meetings with bank employees, or you have to stand in a queue and take those long, working hours for getting your banking operations done. So that has clearly shown that the digital transformation has taken multiple steps, and today we are at a very comfortable position. Still you feel there is a huge scope left out, correct? And that huge scope will be covered up in next 4, 5, 7 years or 10 years or so. And by the time we will cover up today's scope, another new scope, another new requirements will emerge. Similarly, if you talk about your railways, so automation has taken a systematic process. You remember, few of you, or might be you can ask from your parents as well, there was some sort of cardboard tickets which were available. Fine, where an individual has to write down the seat number at the bank, the back of that in the format of a, with a pen, paper or whatever. So since those cardboard tickets then to an, IT based tickets, find your reservation tickets and all. And today you are having everything in an automate mode, even your train locations, your train timing, your upgradations, your insurance, your payments of travel and everything is now automated. And that automation is also was done very systematically, from confirmed tickets to waiting tickets, then to Tatkal, premium Tatkal tickets, and then to a normal ticket as well. And if you are aware about the today's scenario, so there was a news which was published that Indian Railways is planning to eliminate the entire ticketing counters, and they will put some automatic kiosks there, so that if somebody who is not having a smartphone, somebody who do not know how to go for it, then the kiosk will help you out, and there can be an assistant or a helper to you who can assist in operating that kiosk. That means all ticketing counters are going to be in history, maybe in next 5-7 years or so. So that has clearly stated that whenever our organization is going forward for digital transformation, it's exactly an unending process wherein a lot of cost, a lot of effort, a lot of areas of concern needs to be taken care of. And those areas, those automation process, those requirement assessment, they need some or the other experts to do that. And one of those experts can be an IS auditor. One of those experts can be an IT domain expert, right? So let me tell you something with respect to market growth rate. So I'm talking about with some sort of stats and all, just to tell you that how market is growing from the digital side, and how these particular, digital transformation is taking a huge pace and huge acceleration. So one fact is that by 2025, this particular market is going to be 1,000 billion US dollar, which is a big amount. Fine. And that too from just 469, or you can say around 500 billion US dollars in 2020 to in 5 years, it is going to be a double figure. So that is a huge and a big market size exploring out. That too, another word is that global IT spending has also grown up with 5.1% according to Gartner. And you know, Gartner is a very big corporate entity which is into consulting and all. So they have assessed that 5.2, which is 5.1%, which is again a good number wherein our IT spending has been increasing globally. Then in India, it has jumped up much higher. So we expected, or you can say by 2021 figures are available and 2022. So it has gone to around 101 billion US dollars. So technically speaking, by default, we are at current situation also, fine, we are 1/5 of the world. We are 1/5 of the world in terms of IT spending, in terms of IT market. So that clearly states that yes, the market is huge. Yes, the market is demanding. And yes, it is ever expanding as well. Then there are other figures as well, which you can just read out. I'll just quote few more. So again, let me figure it out that, see, another bigger market is with respect to AR, VR technology, which everybody of you might be hearing around. At the same time, IoT, which is relating to smart devices, smart city, smart connected, what do you say, equipments and all. So it is going to grow faster by 2025 because almost everybody is now heading towards smartness. So smart devices, smart laptops, smart lights, smart TVs, and that too when it comes to virtual reality, AR and VR, which is now emerging into tourism as well, in the education market as well, in terms of exploring the properties also, and maybe giving you a real-time experience when you are buying out a car also. So these AR and VR technologies are going to take you another leap ahead when it comes to implementation and digitalization. So technically, again, digital transformation organizations are expected to contribute more than half of the GDP. So that means in the global world, when you're talking about GDP, more than half is now going to be contributed by directly or indirectly connected to the digital market, which is, you can say, 53.3 trillion US dollars. So I'm just quoting these figures to tell you that market size is not small enough. It is already huge. And next 5 years down the line, which is all these bigger organizations, these research and these bodies are showcasing, it is going to be multifold. And when it is going to be multifold, there are certain issues, there are certain challenges. I'm going to discuss that immediately. But let me talk about what is the importance of digitalization. I'll tell you about what are the issues, and also that all these issues need some sort of hand-holding, and that hand-holding gives an opportunity for IS professionals, information system or information technology professionals. So again, according to Gartner, 91% of the business are already engaged into some or the digital initiative, and that's a global figure. So 91%, so directly, indirectly, either you are having online sales, or you are having some or the other websites or web pages, or you are using some ERP models, or your data is on the cloud, or even if you are using emails and digital modes of communication as well for communicating with your clients and channel partners, that's also making you that you are engaged into digital world. Correct? Then 89% of all companies have already adopted digital first business strategy. That means their digitalization is not their second choice. They have decided that yes, let's go digital first. That means today, if you talk about any company which is going for marketing budget, earlier the marketing budget starts from print budget, then electronic budget, right? Then electronic media budgets and all. Today, every organization starts first from what? The digital marketing budget. And print media, electronic media comes second and third thereafter. That clearly states that yes, digital marketing platforms like Facebook, like LinkedIn, like Instagram, like YouTube, they have actually taken the major shape. Why? Because we are able to target with multiple filters the right clientele in the right manner. That means companies have now looked forward for digitalization first, and then they look forward for any kind of physical presence or office locations and something of that sort. Fine. According to the study of Statistica, which is another a bigger body who talks about multiple facts and figures all around, they said the two main agendas of any CEO is to help their business after pandemic is to go on a digital transformation. That means one of the two CEOs are actually looking forward for digital transformation, and that is what is required. And today, all organizations who are hiring new CEOs are focusing on CEOs or expert people who are digitally inclined, fine, who are youth, who knows about technology, who knows about the future of the technology, so that whatever they are doing today is not sustainable today, but it is workable for the future as well. Today, 70% of the customer, fine, drives about or maybe you can say by 2024, 70% of the customer engagement will be through digital medias and all. Now, even if you talk about villager, fine, he is also connected digitally because all the government benefits, all the banking informations, all other benefits which are being transferred by different authorities and different NGOs to them are communicated and transferred in the digital manner. And just to give you one small highlight, I was traveling in interior of Haryana some time back, and I was amazed to see that there was a local auto driver who was commuting me out there. When I asked him for payment, he says that rather than cash, please give it in the digital mode because it is easier for us to manage and less risky as well. So even into Haryana, which is an a backward area, and that too with the auto rickshaw wala, fine, if he's talking about digital currency transactions, I am sure that with time to come with next generation and generation Z, which is emerging out, it is all tag driven generation, and all those physical mode of transactions and physical mode of document handling is going to get completely moved or shifted to the digital manner. Fine. Now, there is an expectation that 65% of the global GDP, which I have already said by 2025, fine, is going to be on the tech side, right? There are a couple of more facts and figures to support that the market size, or you can say the pace of digitalization, pace of automation is at a very large level. But at the same time, there are certain challenges as well. There are failures, and these failures create opportunities for you or opportunities for any IS professional. Now, what are the failures? Now, 73% of the companies decline to provide any business value to their digital transformation process, according to an Everest study group. Now, why? Because their strategy, their planning, their policies, their entire flow of digitalization is on a wrong side, or maybe is not being expertized, or value added by an expert. Fine. So that means if you are a domain expert, if you know anything about a particular industry, maybe it becomes a stone industry, or as Kapil Suri sir said, cement industry, electronic industry, automobile, mobile industry, and whatnot. If you are expert of a particular industry, you can be that particular domain expert who can actually structurally tell them or plan the entire digitalization roadmap for them. So why the companies have failed? Because they are not having a planned roadmap. What you can do, you can be an expert, have that roadmap, and not only planning that roadmap, you can handhold them and make sure that roadmap is being achieved statistically. Fine, and that too with market changes, with global scenarios, whatever is demanding, you can keep aligning those automation plans for them for a smooth digitalization. Correct? Then Forbes showcase, and that too by Boston Consulting Group also, that staggering 70% of the digital transformation project falls short of their goals despite of leadership. Now, why falls short of goal? Because your KPIs, key performance indicators, which again Suri sir have just mentioned, are not being programmed, are not being stated, or are not being quantified. Fine. So if your standards, your KPIs, your whatever you say, that your pre or post standards are being stated properly, it becomes impractical to drive you out or achieve those targets and all. And again, this cannot be done until unless you are having a domain expertise with you. So you again, as a chartered accountant who knows about financials, who now are knowing about technology, who because of your engagements with the organizations knows about in and out of the legal compliances, in and out of the production or service related working they are doing, you can be a catalyst for them into getting this aligned for them. According to McKinsey, a massive 70% of all data transformation failed due to number of reasons. And these number of reasons, one more is that which is related to risk and control assessment. Now, today I'm telling you that most of the organization, because I am an engineer, I am involved into a lot of technical word as well. I'm into a tech market, and I can see that there are a lot of pitfalls. There are a lot of reasons, or there are a lot of areas wherein improper attention leads to a failure. And one of those improper attention is being played on an area of risks and controls. Now, none of the organizations actually talks about what can be the digital risk, what can be the risks which are connected to the market. Now, what risks actually are visible into the market are the one which are mostly addressed but every organization has a different system of working, and every organization has a different set of risks as well. So aligning the risk with an organization is something which is missing it out. So that mapping is very much required to make sure that the digital transformation process is leading to a successful transformation and not a nightmare for an organization. Okay. According to, again, McKinsey's company, 70% of data transformation fails, most of resistance by the employees as well. Now, today, you know that digitalization become a necessity. But there are a lot of people who are already working in the company, maybe within an age of 50, 60 or so, who are not exposed to the digital market, who are still confident and capable, or you can say aligned with the old and traditional format of working. They will show resistance. And this has been the case in banking automation as well, in the railways automation as well, in every organization. So training the employees or upskilling and reskilling them is again an area wherein you can put your footprints. Fine. Just let me tell you that I have been engaged into setting up a lot of center of excellence for advanced computing. Fine, with Apple and IBM. The only reason for that is that to skill, reskill and upskill the current workforce and maybe the workforce which is there for future as well. That means whatever is the gap between the market requirements and the current technological world, you can be a bridge, not to just align with the resources, but make sure that you are able to train the employees as well. You are able to make their mindset and behavioral change as well. So those are again different areas wherein nobody would have explored. You can just put your shoes out there, you can put your footprints out there, you can see the market and the aura is huge enough. Correct? Fine. Now, as I have told you that there are a lot of facts and figures which suggest that yes, we are going forward for automation. Automation digitalization is something which is the need, which is happening, which is visible. But at the same time, there are a lot of risks and challenges which are connected to any kind of transformation in the digital format. Now, those cyber issues again can be highlighted by a few facts and figures as well. First, from the Indian scenario, if I'll talk about, on 20th of June, this year only, our Union Minister Amit Shah, in a conference hall wherein a lot of cyber experts were there, and I was again one of them, he has highlighted that cyber security is an integral part of national security. Cyber security is an integral part. Today only, after getting this particular session over, you can just go and watch the TV out there. Today, Mr. Narendra Modi, our Prime Minister, has made a statement that make sure that this growing India must be digital India, and digital India must be a safer India. Now, when it comes to safe, he has even highlighted small things that please do not circulate any messages without going into the depth of it, without realizing the facts and figures connected to that, and without making sure that this is true. He has highlighted something with respect to digital transactions also into a secure manner. Why? Why a PM of a country has to make that statement? Two clear-cut reasons. We are going in a very fast format of digitalization. Second, the awareness about cybersecurity is not there. Awareness about how the transaction needs to be executed properly is not there. Awareness about how the data and the system needs to be made secure is not there. So that again creates an opportunity for you to be a trainer or to be a whistleblower about all this and make sure that aspects of training the individual, training a typical type of organization with respect to their risks and securities must be aligned. Fine. So this is how the central government interest can be visualized to you. Then in last year, the cyber criminals, I am talking about just last year, which is 2021. Fine, waved cyber attack that were not only highly coordinated, that means now cyber attacks are very much in coordination. The attackers are not doing normal attacks, they are doing APTs, which is known as advanced persistent threats. That means they are not talking about one particular way to breach up your systems or to penetrate your systems. They are finding out all those possible ways how to break down the securities of your systems in a systematic manner. And every system is not that secure that all these threats, all these risks attempts can be withstood properly. Something will affect, and that is what leads to a problem for you all. Data breaches all over the world, and typically if you talk about India, has cost 17.6 crore in just first quarter, or as of now you can say that. So I am talking about figure up till July. Whatever the figures I have are up till July 2022. That means in just, and I am talking about financial year. So April, May, June, July, just 4 months. just first quarter, or you can say just extended to a quarter, 17.6 crore have been lost out. And this is official figure which is there with the authorities. Something much bigger can be hidden out, was not being recorded, was not being highlighted by anyone. So that means the figure 17.6 can go multifold and may lead to 50 CR as well, which is again a big number when it comes to data breaches to an organized, to a company, or to a country like India, wherein digitalization has just paced up. Fine. Then, first of its kind report, our Indian Computer Emergency Response Team, the CERT, fine, has said that it is observed that 51% increase in ransom attack have been witnessed into the country in just first half, fine, of financial year 2021. So 51% increase in ransomware incident. That means a lot of planned attack by attackers have been planned up for the Indian systems, or you can say servers and data and all your data becomes encrypted, and then obviously there will be a kind of financial and some sort of other demands from the ransomware attacker side for your data. So that again said that 51% is a big number, and these all figures are alarming to you. Then there is a report by Economic Times group which says that there is a 3x increase in cyber attacks in India. Fine, and that too, these figures are from 2019, that is pre-pandemic till date. Fine, that's a 3-time increase. So obviously, it's more of digitalization, more of IT related work from pandemic onwards. So this has resulted 3-time increase. That means with more work and more digitalization, we are increasing the risk. Fine. And saying all this and putting all these figures in front of you, I'm not telling you that we should not go for digitalization. We should, and we have to go for it to pace up with the global market. But how the safe it has to be, and that safe part gives you an opportunity. Now there is another report which has just come up, and that is by Google Vice President, who is talking about Google Vice President, Mr. Royal Hansen, who is taking care of the privacy, safety, and security related department in Google. He saw that Indians have 18 million cyber attacks in the first quarter of 2022. And these cyber attacks are small, minute, or can lead to a larger part, maybe a 1 rupee fraud, or maybe a bigger issue. And how they have come up with? They have come up with the fact that how many people are actually from different IP addresses, from different systems, are searching about different cyber attacks and how to get rid of it. So maybe informed or maybe not informed, but 18 million cyber attacks have been, searches have been done on the Google platforms, and that's again a big number. So these are cyber issues which have actually highlighted, or which should have actually alarming you that there is a big opportunity for IS auditor, for cyber security providers, for whistleblowers, find somebody who is taking care of training part as well, somebody who is taking care of VAPT, vulnerability and penetration testing assessments also, and all these areas is one of the biggest opportunity I can see in next another decade or so. And just to show, again, support my facts and figures, I'm just telling you from 2019 till 2025. So these are all genuine facts and figures, and these are all projected facts and figures that states that how billion rupee, Indian rupee, is going to be affected, or maybe this is the size of market which is emerging from cyber side. So from 2019, which was hardly 139 billion Indian rupee, it has got to somewhere around 300. So almost 2.5-fold, almost 2.5-fold in just 6 years or so. That clearly states that cybersecurity market from India, or Indian cybersecurity market, has a huge opportunity and huge potential. Right? I hope these facts and figures are telling you that this is a good amount of revenue, good amount of opportunities, good amount of professional expertise that can be implemented, and you can have your professional life in a very secure manner. Now, let me tell you about market size. Now, today, almost everybody talks about automation. And you as a chartered accountant says, when it comes to bigger companies, maybe a bank or so, you are not into a way of implementing the automation. You have been given a small role of auditing things, and that too, you know that what role you are playing. Fine. And those bigger markets and those bigger companies like Adani's, Ambani's, or Tata's, Birla's, or any large organizations, all these projects goes into the hand of big 4 companies or big targeted companies, or maybe you can say big IT giants. Now, where the opportunity for a small chartered accountant lies? And that too from a small place, maybe Yamunanagar, maybe a small place like Ajmer, maybe a small place like Bilaspur or Raipur, and so there are a lot of MSMEs, which I always say is one of the biggest market in the country. Now, as per the size you have, or maybe I'll just quote some numbers to you. There are 63.05 million micro industries. There are somewhere around 0.33 million small, and there are about 5,000 medium enterprise in the country. And that somewhere around to be 63.5 approximately million. Now, don't you feel these small, medium, or micro industries are also looking forward for digitalization? Yes. Today, a lot of handicraft industries which are from rural backgrounds and villages are looking for digital platform for selling up their products and goods. Don't you feel they need to manage their data? They need to manage their financials. They need to keep integrity of your transactions and all into a perfect manner. And don't you feel these kind of smallest of the entities will not look forward for big fours, and big fours will never reach to these cities also? So there lies the biggest opportunity for you and me as a technical person, you as an IS auditor, wherein 63.5 million small, medium, and micro industries are lying around. And until there is a compliances implemented on them also for some sort of digitalization, some sort of cyber security, some sort of data related norms and all, it becomes an open market for you also to explore it out. Nobody has actually told them, entertained them, and educated them. You can play a role into getting all this into your own kitty. Fine. It's just a sustained effort which is required for it. So market size, I've told you, is huge enough. I've told you the opportunities with respect to cyber securities and cyber issues are again huge enough. And on the other side, the digitalization pace is at a acceleration from pandemic onwards. It's at a different level altogether. What I was expecting to happen in 2030 is now going to happen in 2025. So that we have actually cut short the entire decade into 5 years of digitalization. So that clearly states the opportunities are huge enough. But what to do? So let me tell you about some additional opportunities apart from whatever Suri sir have just told and whatever are clearly visible to you. Maybe some repetition will happen, but maybe the different words will give you a different impact. There's a clear-cut automation consultant requirements. Now, let me tell you what automation consultant is. You may be sitting into a particular place. Let me give you a small example. I have been connected to some of the chartered accountants in Bhilwara region, in Udaipur region, because I'm based out at Rajasthan. I am connected to a few individuals in Sholapur region as well. So these are the places wherein a particular type of industry is booming very well. So in Sholapur, there's a tall industry. In Bhilwara, there is an textile industry. Fine. So when these industries are there, don't you feel a particular industry expert is required for the automation process, who knows about in and out of the industry, right? So you can be an entire automation consultant. Fine. I'll give you another example which I have already implemented. Me with my brother have started a company long back. And in Jaipur, there was a need for all these goldsmiths, sunar jo hote hain. So all those goldsmiths are looking forward for some or the other system through which they will be able to keep their stocks. They will be able to manage their sales and taxation part in a very systematic manner. I am talking about days wherein even VAT was implemented. So long back, somewhere around 2006, 2007 or so. So we started that company and we have started giving them a kind of customized tool specifically for goldsmiths to automate their sales, to automate their taxation part, and to make sure that everything is been accounted. And this accounting is to be done for in-house purpose. It has nothing to do with government compliances and all. It has nothing to do with taxation department, but they want to keep that track record. And that is what is required with the market growing up, right? So we have been that automation consultant. We have assessed their requirements, notified the requirement in a very systematic manner, draw the flow charts, have a constant connect with them, assessing their needs, and then provide them small packages. So we have given them solution for their problem one, which is the biggest problem. Then after putting that implemented perfectly, we have asked what is the next thing which is bugging you, which is troubling you. We have given them another solution and we'll try to make sure that solution one, solution two are aligned together. So in a systematic process of around 2 years or so, we were able to make a small package for them. And that package was not only addressed by a few of the leading goldsmiths and small industries related to ornaments and all in Jaipur, but it was being sold out in some of the market like European market as well, because that was a very customized solution. It was not a general solution like Tally or something for accounting, very specific customized solution for them. So saying you or telling you this particular example, I can just guide you in a systematic manner that you can assess few 4, 5, 10 companies who are facing some or the other problem with their automation process. You can be an automation consultant, assess their requirements and align them with the respective industries to make sure that their automation parts is being taken care of, and you can be an ongoing consultant for them for systematic upgradation, for risk management, for employees training, for making sure that their compliances are implemented. Any new thing coming up from the government side must also be incorporated. So it's again an ongoing process for you. So that is one small thing which is automation consultant that can be part of it. Another important areas which I feel like is very important, again Suri sir has already highlighted that today almost every company is not looking forward for holding their data on their own servers. As the data is becoming larger and larger every time, and the tendency of deleting or removing the data is not there, because if they will do that, the analytic part will not happen. So they want to keep the entire data with them. It's not like 2019 bill book has to be packed up and put up at some place. 2020 bill book has to be put up. Now they want to have everything on their digital system so that accounting, tracking, interest of an individual, all these can be managed properly. So data becomes large enough, and managing that particular data on individual or a dedicated server of their own, which is in-house server, is not practically possible. Systematically, as the government is looking forward for e-way bills and a lot of other things, they are always looking forward for some or the other cloud environment to take care of all this. So you can be a catalyst into that entire migration process. So from the in-house server to a cloud, the data migration, the process migration, the security migration, fine. All these things has to be systematically happen. It cannot be happen on a random manner. This process needs to be monitored from an eagle eye view in a systematic manner. And yet you can be that eagle eye for ensuring this process happen. Anything wrong must be alarmed on the real-time basis and should be handled immediately, because anything going wrong can lead to a disaster. Correct? So that entire cloud migration, that is from choosing the right cloud to negotiating with the cloud service provider to making sure that the application has to be migrated first, that the data migration has to happen, the employees needs to be trained automatically, the risks and control needs to be implemented in a systematic manner, the policies and business continuity planning has to be made again with the testing ideologies. All these are the areas wherein you as an IS auditor can play a very important and carry a very systematic role, right? Then the area comes up, IS risks and control advisor. You all are agree to this particular fact that risks are ever growing. Since the day first you have heard about viruses, worms, you feel like this is the only word. Today you talk about sniffers, you talk about ransomware, you talk about clickjacking, you talk about social engineering, you talk about zombies. That means there is a new and new terminology coming up into the risks market every now and then. And every day you open up a newspaper, or you if you are fond of searching something related to cyber or net, you can feel that your vocabulary with respect to the terminologies connected to the risk is ever increasing. That means if risks are going in an exponential manner, the controls needs to be aligned also. And do you expect an organization who is into manufacturing or into servicing will be aware about the IT part in such a detailed and updated manner? No. So obviously there comes an opportunity for an advisor who is well aware about what are the risks and what are the controls and how to map up these risks and controls. So if you feel like the risk exists within an organization you are consulting, you are able to align the right control along accordingly. And those controls must be cost effective, must be justifying, and it should not like one size fit all strategy. Every organization has a different need, so different controls are required. Every organization has a different budget, so again different controls are required. That means right alignment and making sure these controls are not only implemented they must be working in a perfect manner. They must be providing the organization the right level of security. So it becomes an again end-to-end solution for any company which is looking forward for making their organization and information system secure from any cyber or IT related risks. You can be a part of providing that particular control to them. At the same time, you all have been aware about the compliances which are coming up from different bodies like RBI, fine, like SEBI, or maybe by government, GOI, Government of India. So, and again, we know that people may not be aware about all this as well. So there are data protection laws, fine. There is something called breach of data related things and all. I'll just quote something that how opportunities comes up. Before pandemic, we all were engaged into some or the other gaming or entertainment related platforms which are made or run by Chinese organizations. During pandemic in 2019 November, or we can say just before pandemic, on 21st November 2019, the Government of India has released Personal Data Protection Act. And that particular act, when implemented in a systematic manner, it was just a coincidence that the pandemic strikes and the coronavirus was being given a kind of Chinese virus tag and all. But it was mismatch between the Indian Personal Data Protection Act and the application which was released by China, like TikTok, like multiple gaming applications, which were not fulfilling that particular act related requirements. And that is the reason they have been banned. Corona has just been a, shelling for it, but they have been banned because of a logic. And systematically, this particular ban is going to get continued till anybody will raise an issue that this application is not meeting up with the requirements of Personal Data Protection Act. And maybe any other compliances, any other documents, any other notice which is released by government on the time-to-time basis. Now, when these applications and these data or these applications are not meeting the requirement, this may happen with the Indian organizations as well. So there create two opportunities. One is, you can see that suddenly post-pandemic or during pandemic, there were a lot of companies from the Indian origin who have just fulfilled these norms and come up with their own gaming applications. And today, almost everybody is minting money. Similarly, another opportunity is making sure that the already application which are there on Play Stores or maybe on iTunes, or maybe the application which are being used within the organizations for automation purpose and ERP application or cloud migration, whatever it is. It might be there that organization have already automated in 2016, 17, 18 or 19. Suddenly the Data Protection Act had come up and now everybody has to comply with that. So you can be that compliant implementer, because people like a layman will not be able to map up what government wants to see and what technology needs to have. So you can map up those things and be an aggregator and implementer for them. So compliance related parts becomes an opportunity for you. And when I'm talking about compliance, I'm also talking about in-house governance model, which is policies. So making sure policies within the organization needs to be updated. The laws which are developed, the notices which are released by certain regulatory bodies, government needs to be implemented with the systems. And again, this has to be an ongoing process, because as GST, you know that there are a lot of notices and amendments coming up every now and then. Similarly, is the IT area as well. So although Information Technology Act in India is older enough, but still with the regular upgradation and notices and guidelines released by government and different parallel acts which are again drafted and released to the market by government or Parliament of India, you can see that we are one of the most sound country in terms of cyber laws and cyber compliances. But implementation, we are weakest enough. And that creates a big gap, and this gap can be fulfilled by you as a professional. Right? Then comes technology aggregator specialist. Now, let me tell you what technology aggregator is. Now, you know that suppose I am running a company, I need a cloud service provider. I need a person who wants to develop an application. I need somebody for cyber security and all. I need a hardware team to come up and install the servers and do networking for me. Or maybe I am looking forward for somebody who can give me a legal consulting about whatever non-compliance issues you can have. So if you knows about a particular industry, if you knows about all these tidbits part of it, you can be an aggregator for them. One point solution. So as aggregator, you already know the word, the meaning of aggregator. So as Amazon becomes an aggregator for you for any kind of goods you need for your purpose. It's not only, so even it's the cars which are not being sold out, rest everything is available online. Cars and weapons in some areas, but everything is there. So you can be an aggregator for any kind of technological related services that needs to be given to a particular group of companies or in a particular city. So you can start that technical technology aggregator specialist business out there. Fine. And for doing this, you need to have a decent knowledge about what are the hardware services provider, what are the software services provider, who are the cloud service provider, who are networking equipments and networking suggest, what are the risks and controls. So you can be that particular aggregator for it. Correct. Then let me tell you about what are the domain experts for AI implementation data analytics. As again, recently, an hour before, sir has already highlighted that you can be a domain expert for it. Now, what exactly the domain expert means, how AI implementation needs to happen. See, for any AI implementation, some sort of logic needs to be built up. Some sort of experts are required to imbibe those things into coding part, into the logic part, and that can be fed into the systems. So if you are aware about, suppose, a particular area, let me talk about, you know what algorithms are today and what algo trading is. Now, somebody of you is very much aware about a particular industry, maybe a sugar industry. You knows what are the key parameters for evaluating the sugar industry. You know when the share market is going to go high and low. What are the parameters, or what do you say, the key points which are connected to the particular industry? What are the national, international scenarios which are going to affect the price of a particular share? If you are aware about every nick and bit of that particular sugar industry, can you help in developing an algorithm for that sugar industry share trading market? Just keeping a track on 10 sugar shares, I'm just putting a random number because I'm not aware about that how many companies are listed from the sugar point of view. But let's say there are 10 industries, 10 companies who are listed in the share market. A good algorithm with your expertise can be built up, which can actually predict what is going to be happening. And this is what is being done by leading, players in the share market. Fine. Although earlier they were doing manually, now you have an automated system for doing so. You can keep on putting up additional knowledge, whatever comes up into the AI systems. And there can be another platform which is created specifically for maybe sugar industry, one for cement industry, one for maybe agri-related industries, one for maybe your aeronautic industries, one for mobile industries and all. And those algorithms are specifically targeted to a particular side of industry, and those are predicting what is going to be next. And those are taking care of even minute things, that if a director moves from India to US, fine, with a personal jet and for a meeting, you can even track that. You can even track that if you are having that deeper knowledge. One of my friend who is one of the youngest, Boolean expert in the country, and he's been awarded by Mr. Pranab Mukherjee also when he was finance minister. He is now doing this algo trading and developing an AI-based algo trading model. Fine, sitting in Pune, and he's typically targeting to all the companies connected to Ambani. That's it. He is only focusing on Ambani. He knows where he moves. He knows what is going on. He knows what is there inside the organization through different channels. He's fetching out that particular data from different sources and just analyzing that data and creating an AI platform, an algo platform for finding out that. So again, see, I'm telling you, these are the ways in which you can expand up your technological expertise knowledge, your data expertise knowledge, your domain expertise knowledge, and take help of technology to build up a platform which can create a different vertical for you. And that vertical is so niche that nobody will be able to enter by the time you will find out an exit strategy for it. So mining or earning today is not a challenge, but smart earning is something can be done by professionals like you, me, or maybe somebody who is expert in the particular domain. So data analytics again becomes a play out. Similarly, IoT. Now you all know that today almost entire world is looking forward for smart systems, smart devices, connected world altogether. So you are having smart watches in your hand, you are having smart phones in your hand, you are having smart TVs, you are having smart lights, and today you are having smart switches as well. I can visualize that with smart cities and smart or digital or connecting devices becomes a trend. Next 10 years down the line, almost every equipment in the house, maybe a mixie or a washing machine or a refrigerator or an AC or a microwave oven, all are going to be a connected devices. Whether directly connected or indirectly connected, most of the middle homes also are going to use those technology, because technology with time is going to get cheaper. And when this comes up, lot of data flows into the environment. Lot of data has been exchanged with it. Now, whenever data is there, managing that particular data, fetching out the analytics from that particular data, making sure the data and the transactions are secure and reliable, making sure these devices are not being malfunctions by anything, making sure these devices are regularly updated and functioning as intended. Do you feel this is an easy-go-lucky task? No, not at all. Again, for this, somebody who is aware about IoT environment is required. Internet of Things environment. Because unless IoTs are there, IoT concept is there, connecting devices and connecting what will not happen. And whenever this is happening, I have told you that these are the areas which opens up completely wide enough and which have never been or thought of, exploited or explored by any individual in the country right now. You can be the first one for doing that. Fine. And I always praise that you should relish or you should cherish that you are connected with such a body which keeps on putting up efforts in giving you a platform to enhance your knowledge and give you an opportunity to explore the parameters and areas and concerns wherein it becomes a huge market opportunity for you. Being an engineer and being an IITian, I can figure it out. And a lot of chartered accountants are my friends as well. And I have been training to chartered accountants from more than a decade now. Your traditional practices are not going to last. Are not going to give you more than your basic bread and butter. Nobody wants basic bread and butter. Everybody wants to have something extra, wants to cherish, relish, and at the same time, when your professionals are there, you want to grow with time as well. You want to give life, your life and your siblings and your successors a better life. And for all this, putting your shoes or feet into the shoes of a technological person is important. Saying so, I do not want you to get into programming. I do not want you to get into chip related development. I do not want you to get into development of hardwares and all, not into development of software also. No, this is all an engineer task, which we are doing it out, which we are floating a lot of devices, softwares, applications to be used, but whether they are being used properly or not, whether the controls, the securities, the compliances are implemented or not, we are not bothering that. We are just releasing, developing, researching. That's it. Are we focused on training? Are we focused on securities? Are we focused on implementing on the grassroots level? Are we focused on auditing? Are we focused on future requirements? Are we actually connected to the organizations and finding out what exactly they need? No. For all this, we need people like you who are domain experts, who are connected to the direct clientele. And no clientele is going to disclose every pain points to us as a technical person, but they will open up everything in front of you because you are the financial consultant. You are the backbone of the organization. So utilize that backbone feature of yours and make sure you knows what exactly they need and come up with a systematic solution for them. And those solutions can open up an aura for you because technology, I have already told you, is there to stay, is the driving force. Fine. And you can find out a way today which is lasting for at least a decade or so with the organization. And by the time they will end up, they will come up with a new requirement from technological upgradation. Because next 10 decades, they can sustain with the technology they are using today. And thereafter, they will, as they are now into the shoes of a technological person, they want to use that in the near future. They want to upgrade. So again, the cycle goes on. Right. So this is what I need to say. Apart from that, there is a small quote which I always put up whenever I take certain sessions on awareness of all. 2/3 of the earth is covered with water, then rest 1/3 is covered with auditors. So this is the only word which is consists of two things. One is water, which is visible. One is auditor, which is again visible. So you are the only person who is covering up rest 1/3 of the water, and which from different verticals evaluating business operations from different angles. So maybe financial auditor, maybe technical auditor, fine, maybe business auditor, whatever, but you are there always. So make sure this opportunity and this fields and this areas of yours needs to be excelled, needs to be enhanced, and you can find an opportunity. we, maybe Suri sir, me, or Nanda sir, or anybody who's connected to the technological market or technological arena is always there to support, guide you, and tell you what is there. Maybe we can be a hand-holding person for you who can align you with the corporates, the organizations, and help you out in automating the things, helping you out in getting more knowledge, specific knowledge for a particular domain, and maybe being you as a representative of those organizations in your own cities, in your own towns, or with your respective industry, and float that technology into the market, right? So now I am, and maybe Suri sir, we are also open for questions. And if there are no questions, then I can take few more minutes for you for telling you the opportunities from a different perspective as well. Revanji, over to you.
Thank you so much, sir. Well, it was very nice to hear from you, and we have few questions with us.
Yeah, please.
So we have a question which is anonymously asked, and the person asked, any job opportunities for CA freshers with no experience in IT audit?
See, when it comes to no experience in IT audit, obviously you know that jobs are not there. So whenever you talk about industry, so let me tell you, I am setting up a lot of center of excellence in colleges for advanced computing, and those center of excellences are not only for engineers; those are for management professionals as well. Those are for agriculture professionals. Those are for computer application professionals also. Those are for pharmacists as well. So whenever we are setting up, we are letting them exposed to some or the other real-time projects. Fine, those real-time projects will give you hands-on experience. So if you are a chartered accountant having zero knowledge of technology, I'll always request you all to have some or the other technological knowledge. Now, one question can be asked, sir, what is the way to get it? Because right now we are into a city or into a place wherein real-time projects are not there. So dear, in that case, I insist you to at least read certain detailed case studies, real-time case studies. Maybe the company, the Sun Pharmaceutical was having a bigger problem, and they have faced out a bigger challenges in recent times with respect to their data breaches and some sort of server attacks. So you can have that entire case study if you want to focus yourself into the pharmaceutical industry. That what was the problem, what the impact of the problem, the impact of the issue, and how the systematically issues was solved, and what is the situation today. So these kind of real-time case studies will give you not hands-on experience, but at least a decent knowledge which can be used or which can be shared while you are interviewing, while you are being interviewed by someone, or while you are showcasing that you have this particular knowledge in a particular domain. So look forward for your domain. First is maybe industry perspective, or maybe suppose you want to be a BCP expert, business continuity planning expert, or you want to be a cyber auditor, or you want to be a system development auditor, or you want to be a compliances expert. So please choose your area of interest, and then please try to understand some of the other real-time case studies, typically from Indian and global perspective from both scenarios. And then you can have a one-on-one session with few of the other faculties, or maybe you can request to ICI to organize a particular session, maybe on pharmaceutical industry, or maybe on IT industry, maybe on automobile industry. And those specific knowledge can be given by an expert to you. That becomes a way through which a fresher can enter into a market.
I hope this answers the query. We have question from CA Rajat Jain ji from Indore. He asked from where to get the practical knowledge of ISA when I have not got any experience of the same in the job and articleship, and we practice in a small city. I hope you have already answered this question, sir.
Yeah, but I can give you a few more things to that. See, today there are a lot of skill enhancement companies who are already working into those areas. Let's talk about, suppose you want to get into blockchain. Fine. So already there are free videos available. Then there are certain paid certifications available. And when I'm talking about paid certifications, those paid certifications are connected with some real-time projects. So not to promote any company, but let me tell you, Simply Learn is one. You might be aware about it. Fine. EduReka is one. Imarticus is one. Fine. And there are hundreds and hundreds of companies which are into what? Skill, you can say upskilling you, typically upskill a professional. So you can identify your interest area and you can get these certifications with some sort of industry exposure. So choose industry exposure certification which will give you the relevant knowledge. And that is how I think either the job part or maybe a practice part, those both areas are open enough for you.
This certainly answers the query, I hope. We have a question from CA Vinita Jindalji from Faridabad. Can we conclude that an auditor should have good knowledge of software using by organization? But how can anyone expect that an auditor should have thorough knowledge of all the softwares? You have already answered this question, but still, if you want to add something.
Yeah, Revanji, see, you do not need knowledge of a thorough software. Let me tell you, you need to know what are the processes which an organization is flowing. Now, processes can be with different applications. See, today, you know what is the mechanism for using social media platforms. Now, whether it is Twitter or Insta or Facebook or WhatsApp, or a long time back it was Orkut. Have you been asked for any training to train yourself with respect to these platforms? Have you ever seen any video of that? No, because you know the basic ideology of these platforms are social connectivity, liking, making your network possible. So you try to learn on your own. Similarly, if you are aware about what the processes an organization needs to have from a general perspective, fine, without knowing what software they are using. So software wise, Revanji, you and me may be into same industry, but might be using the different softwares. But processes will remain the same. Our process of billing, our process of manufacturing will remain the same, because you and me, suppose that in the pharmaceutical industry, we have a systematic process. Softwares may be different. So without getting into a particular software part or having a quest of knowing a software, you must be curious to know the process behind it. You must be knowing the pain points of that particular industry. You must be knowing the compliances of the industry. If you are well aware of it, software just becomes a small thing which can be understand, read, and knowledgeable in just 2 days timeline. That's it.
Thank you so much, sir. We have another question from CA Rajat Jain from Indore. He asks whether engineers are a competition for the opportunities discussed by speakers, as they are more equipped with the technology part.
No, we are not. Reason being, we are not authorized for audit. And at the same time, let me very well clear to you, there are somewhere around 40 lakhs engineers, or you can say 10 lakh per year, so 40 lakhs currently studying in the entire country. Out of those 40 lakhs also, nobody, no university, no college, no AICT, no UGC is talking about IS audit. Let me be very open. I, being an IITian, I have never read about IS audit till I have put on my shoes or till I was aware about ICAI DISA course, to be very frank. So that means opportunity for developers and opportunity for auditors is clear-cut difference. Clear-cut different. You cannot put your feet into the shoes of a developer because you do not know the jargons, technological terms, and maybe the programming aspects for it. And learning those may be a pain point for you. We as an engineer cannot put our shoes, cannot put our feet into your shoes. That is knowing the business aspects, knowing the legal perspective, knowing the pain points of an organization, knowing the processes and compliances for it. So it's a clear-cut differentiation, but yes, if we both clubbed up together, that becomes a greater opportunity. And this is how we have to complement as a professionals.
Thank you, Dr. Saab. We have another question that the person asked, please provide the directions on how to get a job in IT audit domain.
So I have told you, there is step one, make sure that either you are connected to an industry or you are connected to a domain. So industry means suppose automobile industry, pharmaceutical industry, whatever, or a domain like BCP expert or a risk expert or a development expert or an implementation expert or a networking expert. So either of the two needs to be picked up first. Once you pick those things, second point is that equip yourself with the right level of knowledge connected to that. Now, equipping your knowledge can be connected to two areas. One is reading the case studies and making sure that you are aware about real-time scenarios, or maybe getting certifications into that particular domain from a specific organization, typically suppose BCP. So let's talk about only BCP. Why to talk about development? Why to talk about risk? Let's expertise into that particular domain. Once you are there in that domain, make sure smallest need of the task within your own vicinity needs to be handled properly. Fine. Maybe an hypothetical situation as well. Now, what hypothetical situation can be generated? See, Revanji might be having an office wherein suppose 10 odd articles are sitting, 10 odd computers are there, and all those computers are networked with each other. Now, can there be a hypothetical circumstances, Revanji, where you can declare on a particular day that you are on a disaster and entire system get crashed down? Although it might have not. You can create a hypothetical system or situation, and then you can ask that particular person who is BCP, trying to be a BCP expert, please make a plan for entire revival of my business into a systematic manner within a specific timeline. Can there be a real-time situation for them? Can these kind of situations will be helpful can you as an organization head can counter the BCP person into making that particular system more sustainable, more sound and real-time implementable? So if these kind of exercises needs to be done within your own community, I feel you don't need anybody to actually teach you on the implementation part.
Thank you so much, sir. I guess all the queries have been answered as of now, and we do not have any other queries. So you may continue, sir.
Fine. So I'll tell you a lot of specific opportunities. So I am connected with the education market altogether. In last around 16 years of my professional experience, I have been always connected to the education industry. So that can be connected to schools, colleges, universities, edtech market, coaching industries and all. And as I'm based out at Kota, I know what the education industry is all about. Now, let me tell you, there are a few things which are there from the government side. Let me tell you some figures first so that you can actually correlate. There are somewhere around 1,000 plus universities in the country. There are somewhere around 30,000 plus colleges, including government and private, all I'm talking about all. And there are somewhere around 15 lakh schools. Again, when I'm talking about schools, I'm talking about primary, pre-primary, secondary, government, state board, central board, ICSE board, IB board, all. And there are somewhere around 20 lakh coachings. Sorry, 2 lakh coachings. 2 lakh coachings. Can you just give me a thumbs up or something in the chat box, or maybe Revanji can say, is this market size looks decent for you? Is it market size looks credible that you can find out an opportunity to this particular segment?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Right? Absolutely. Now let me tell you what is there missing out right now. Automation of these organizations is missing. Reason, there is no systematic compliances from the authority side for automation. Every school is using ERP, but how to audit, how to secure the ERP, how to manage the data in the ERP, they are not aware of it. And when it is a problem with the schools, colleges and universities has no difference. If you talk about how to handle the degree and documentation part, let me tell you, almost every organization or every school or coaching and all release some or the other mark sheets, maybe monthly, maybe quarterly, maybe yearly, maybe semester wise, they are releasing some sort of documentation. Is there a systematic way of documenting these documents into a digital manner? No. Second, are they secure and reliable? Again, no. Because see, like a small problem. Suppose today I'm going for a job to an organization. That company will want to verify my documentation. Yes. Now, when they want to verify, they have to approach to the concerning university, college, schools, or maybe whatever the bodies I'm connected with, and they will verify it. Don't you feel this verification is a time-consuming, cumbersome, and a costly process? Now, if that's a scenario, why can't we develop a mechanism which can gradually be certified by maybe UGC or AICT or CBSE or state board or maybe any government, that this platform becomes a platform wherein documentation, if are placed and verified, can be verified for the lifetime. That means it's kind of DigiLocker, but DigiLocker is just for keeping your documents. Fine, DigiLocker you cannot have verified. That is, suppose your Aadhaar card is there, the UDI will not verify that Aadhaar card is verified. You can have a false Aadhaar card out there, but verification is important. So if we can create a digital platform which can be backed up by a blockchain technology and handling these documents which are verified by respective bodies, authorities, or institutions, don't you feel this becomes an opportunity? Yes. Don't you feel managing the data at the back end with the universities and making that flow becomes very important? That is, from school, the data should flow to colleges or concerning universities, and from universities it flows to the respective organization. Don't you feel that becomes a an opportunity for flowing up the data? Don't you feel security and managing that particular data into a systematic manner becomes an opportunity? Yes. Automation of these organizations, unless compliances are there, the automation is vague. I am already seeing that government has decided to go for digitalization from the education perspective, because forging documentation, fake degrees and all has become a challenge today. And they are actually into setting up the compliances, because I'm connected with Niti Aayog and all, I can see this is happening. So you can create your own expertise into typically education market. And I think the figures which I have shown is exorbitant in number, is enormous in number. And you may find out, suppose 2 universities, 10 colleges and 10 schools into your kitty, it is becoming a huge task and a huge revenue and huge opportunity for you. So that is one thing which is being lined out with the education market. Fine, whether it is university, college, schools, or coaching, the areas and scope is huge enough. Let me tell you about one more industry. You know, this what do you say, automobile industry. In automobile industry, every automobile dealer is having a platform which is known as a dealer management system, DMS, what they says, in which every car which has been built to them and every car which they are selling is being tracked out together. But I'll tell you some real-time issues which I have faced. A couple of my friends are into automobile industry and there was a ransomware attack on them. You know, automobile is a big cash industry. Revenues are there. Players are good. Sound people start for automobile. Automobile people are known in the entire city. But they are not aware about the networking risk, the use of DMS, the use of local softwares, whatever they are using. And because the data is important enough, the ransomware attacks are being planned systematically on them. Two of my friends in my own city have been attacked by ransomware, and I'm being a consultant from them to give them out a solution coming out and then providing the right level of security so that it should not happen. Similarly, when there are specific risks in specific areas, you can be just a ransomware attack expert. You can be just a person who can identify what can go wrong and what needs to be done so that that wrong should not happen. So maybe an automobile industry, which is big, which is every city will have around 10, 20 automobile dealers around you. You can be a customized solution expert for their networking, for securing the network and data and resources. And for them, sparing 1 lakh rupees for a year will not be a challenge. You know that it becomes a small amount for them if you really tell them what can go wrong and what is the solution for it. If you map up with their problems and solution, you can highlight their problems and you can showcase that thing to them. 1 lakh rupees per person will not be a challenge. You can find out an opportunity there. One particular city, 10 different automobile people, you can give a presentation to the entire automobile group or fraternity out there and find out a mechanism to provide them a customized solution. 5-10 lakh rupees a year on a regular basis for them is a pennies, and for you maybe another revenue options for it. Similarly, there are other industries as well where you can find out that particular option. Fine. Now, Revanji, I am sure that there are few more questions now when this happens, when I have told you about this. Are there anything that needs to be discussed or any few more questions? I'm sure there must be.
There are a few questions, yes. This is a question from Harshal Sinkarji. He's from Pune. He asks, how can we shift from SAP FICO consultancy into IT audit?
See, for this, I think Kapil Suri sir would be a right person to reply because he is a SAP consultant and SAP trainer as well, if he is there.
Yes, I'll invite Professor Saab.
Suri sir, if you are here.
I guess he has left.
He has left? Okay, no problem. So let me tell you. See, when it comes to SAP just becomes an ERP related platform. Fine, which is there to integrate the different departments within the organization and to automate the entire business process. If the organization is having scattered operations, maybe manufacturing, sales, logistic, or maybe having multiple offices to go for. Shifting from that is not required. Actually, you can take it as an add-on part because that is also connected to IT. That is also connected to technological market. But see, there are a lot of SAP consultant and SAP implementation in ERP implemented already in the country. And I don't feel like today, even medium level organization needs an ERP because they are already implemented it. Small organizations are actually functioning into a particular single unit, and also ERP may not be a necessity for them. They can even work on a small MIS package as well. So shifting is not required. Actually, you can keep on working on that. But yes, add-on part from IS audit perspective, you can take care of it. Now, what can be there is that ERP itself handles 2 or 3 basic areas. One is data. One is smooth flow of information and resources within the different departments. And third area is related to risks and internet related control, because most of the ERPs today are connected to internet. You can put these areas or maybe into BCP as well, business continuity planning, which is connected to the risk and compliances. So you can put your expert knowledge of SAP, ERP into expanding those things to problems connected to the ERP or futuristic issues which can come up with the ERP or SAP solutions. Right? Harshalji?
Yes, I hope I hope this answers this query. Sir, maybe you can share your contact details because we have queries regarding people who need support from throughout the India. So
Okay.
it would be great if you could share your contact details.
Sure.
We have another query from Chennai and it is not very clear. So I would request Mr. Selvaraj to please share his query quite clearly. He has asked whether bank audit or internal audit, conference audit, DISA is mandatory.
Yeah, currently without DSA, you are not able to get those orders. I think institute will be able to tell you much specific to that, because being I am not a chartered accountant, but I know for bank audit, DSA is almost compulsory.
Yes.
And it's not DSA, actually, you can say that any kind of IS audit certificate is mandatory. Even if you are CISA, if you are ISP2 certified, it is accepted out there. And today it is related to only banking industry. I am sure that sooner or later, Ministry of Corporate Affairs will come up with their own guidelines, because they are forcing everybody to handle the digital data. They will come up with guidelines that yes, DISA, CISA, or any kind of IS audit certificate is mandatory even for private limited and even LLP companies as well, because auditing is a key part for them also.
I hope this answers his query. Well, we have, as of now, we do not have any other queries from our, all the participants. So you may continue, sir.
I have specifically few more things to talk about, which may be connected to certain specific certifications again. So let me just have whiteboard for you all. Okay. See, I've already told you that there are a lot of certifications and a lot of extra knowledge which is required.
Not visible. Your screen is not visible.
Just hold
the
on.
whiteboard thing is not visible.
Just hold on. Let me. Yes. Just let me stop sharing and I'll share it again. Now, is it visible?
Not yet. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is visible.
Good. Fine. Now, see, you know about ISO. Fine. So, ISO has multiple standards with respect to entire IS audit arenas and IS audit platforms. And that particular is including, suppose you know about ISO 27000 series. You know about what you say 23800 series. You know about 31000 series. So there are a lot of standards which are released by ISO with respect to information system as a field altogether. Getting into specific knowledge of these certifications, finding out what exactly is the global standard will give you additional knowledge and will open up your mindset also. Saying so, I am not asking you to go for these certification, at least having a knowledge of these available free of cost online. You can talk about ISO 27000 as the entire list of standards, 21001, 2, 3, up till 54, there are standards and all. You can just feel what is relevant where and how you are able to find out the detailing part of it. Now, when I'm talking about detailing, my always concern with respect to detailing is not only talking about the theoretical part of it. You must know how it is to be implemented. So reading only small theories or small standards will give you a basic knowledge. Implementation means reading the case studies and finding out how it has been implemented into the real-time industry by an IS auditor into a systematic manner for solving a prevailing problem. If that will happen, your aura, your mindset, your knowledge will expand up not only from theoretical perspective, but also connected to the industry also and the process of implementing a standard in the industry also. Right? So whenever you are finding out, you are seeking out an opportunity, make sure that opportunity should be explored properly into two formats. One is what standards are there, because until unless it is standard, it's not accepted and people will not realize that you are having a knowledge for it. So standards must be there, and there has to be some sort of real-time case studies and use cases which will connect you that standard to the problem area part. And whenever you are talking about case studies and all, make sure the case studies must be more of national, less of international, although international are important enough. But national case studies will give you the problems and scenarios which are there prevailing in your own country, on your own market. And a larger organization, as I've just told you, Sun Pharmaceutical has faced a bigger problem. Now, do you feel, suppose there was a question from Indore and Ujjain side as well. So Indore and Ujjain is a big market for pharmaceutical industries, and small players are there doing very good business out. Why not a problem, a solution, and a systematic way of handling that particular scenario of Sun company, or maybe Cadila, or maybe Abbott, can be implemented out there? Today, the attackers are more interested in larger organizations, and tomorrow they will be more interested in smaller organizations, because bigger organization will have a lot of controls already there. So who is more vulnerable? The more vulnerable player are small and medium-sized organizations. That's what I always said, that for you as a professional into a small city, the bigger opportunity is not to find out a way out in Reliance or Adani. It's the way to find out a local player, finding out their solution and problem and stacking up to that as well, because that will give you a confidence, and they are also more connected to you as a professional also, right? So seeking out that opportunity and mapping out that scenario is something which I always insist. And anybody who is having any problem with respect to any specific industry or sitting in a specific city, and you can identify a problem areas, maybe related to system development, maybe related to standard implementation, maybe related to compliances, maybe related to BCP, maybe related to areas of networking and all, you can just ping me, or you can just call me and find out a way where we can connect out each other, and I'll tell you what are the ways to get your interest of technology into your professional connect, right? So I think, Revanji, this is all from my side.
Well, thank you so much, sir. And we have one query, which says that I just wanted to know your contact details, sir. Actually, it was not visible when you shared last time.
Okay, just let me share it to you again. Is it visible now, Revanji?
Yes, sir, it is.
Fine. You can ping me up on WhatsApp first, and then we can find out a way to connect. And then I'll be very grateful and privileged enough to solve out a problem. If even one person of the chartered accountants will get help from my side, it will be kind of
so nice. We have one query from Harshal Sindkarji from Pune. He says, if we go for CISA certification, will IT industry experience be considered as the eligibility criteria of post-certification experience of 2-3 years?
Revanji, to that, I'll continue with something what Suri sir have said. You have already done DSA here, and DSA is already having all those things which are there in CISA. Now, where you want to practice? Now, if you want to explore the practice areas in the country itself, fine, you don't need a CISA. If you want to explore something outside the country on the global level, you need CISA. DSA is always incorporating all those things, even something extra if you are from DSA 3.0. DSA 3.0 flow of the entire course content, including real-time practice and case studies, will give you more knowledge and more exposure and more real-time hands-on as compared to CISA. Right? So make sure anything to be done, you should have a logic and reason behind it. Just doing certification courses is not going to give you a profession opportunity, to be very frank. Your real-time experience with this is important. So if you want to invest another amount of money into getting CISA, I request you to invest that into experting into a particular domain and be there in association with an IT expert or an auditor, and spend that 6 months, 1 year, or whatever, 1.5 lakh rupees amount of money you are spending for CISA to gain that real-time industry knowledge.
I hope this answers the query. So as of now, we do not have any other queries, sir. And with these words, I'll formally thank you and Dr. Kapil Suri, sir. I'll thank all the participants of this webinar. I'll thank ICAI. I'll thank Digital Accounting and Assurance Board of ICAI. I'll thank Yamunanagar branch for organizing this webinar. And from the core of my heart, I thank both our keynote speakers for sharing their valuable experience and words of wisdom. I thank everyone for joining us. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Revanji. God bless you all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Recording stopped.